We've got two of the most tradition-rich franchises in the National Football League tonight, live from AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Oakland Raiders, what they call the dress rehearsal game. It is week number 4 for your Dallas Cowboys. And welcome to Cowboys football. Bill Jones along with Babe Laufenberg and Daryl Moose Johnston along once again this week. And yes, the dress rehearsal game, that means we're going to see the starters, including quarterback Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, Derek Carr for the Raiders throughout the first half of this one, Babe.
Yeah, we know who the Cowboys starter will be this season, Bill. That'll obviously be Dak Prescott. We don't know about that number 2 job, but Cooper Rush, for the first time this preseason, will get in there first ahead of Kellen Moore. So he'll take over the second half. And Daryl Johnston, this Cowboys defense will face a playoff team for the first time this preseason.
Yeah, a playoff team with 5 Pro Bowlers on the offensive side of the ball, something they haven't really seen this preseason. So I'm interested to see how this secondary performs, how that pass rush performs against a very good offensive line.
An injury-depleted Cowboys secondary this preseason. We also see Zeke and Sean Lee for the first time this preseason. The kickoff is straight ahead.
This game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Oakland Raiders at AT&T Stadium is sponsored by Baylor Scott & White Health. We're changing healthcare for life. DraftKings, because you don't just want to watch, you want to play. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Lincoln Motor Company, the official luxury vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys. Pepsi, all for the Cowboys. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza.
Two of the most iconic and storied franchises in sports. It's the Dallas Cowboys and Oakland Raiders. After this, from your local station.
Also brought to you by Bank of America. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Essilor, makers of Transitions, Crizal, and Verilux lenses. Better sight, better life. And by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas.
A great Saturday night here in Arlington, Texas, as the Dallas Cowboys take on the old Oakland Raiders. It is game number 4 of this preseason for the Cowboys, game number 3 for the Raiders, the dress rehearsal game. Yes, the starters should play the first half of this one, and a nice crowd on a Saturday night in Arlington. Let's go down to the sideline and Lindsay Draper.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. You said it yourself. It is the dress rehearsal game, and you remember last year's dress rehearsal game in Seattle. The Cowboys started a new era and ushered it in that game. So this could be a big turning point for Ezekiel Elliott because he is getting playing time tonight. Jason Garrett said it will be similar to last year in Seattle when he had 7 carries for 48 yards. Expect to see him tonight 8 to 12 snaps. And remember, this will be the only work he could possibly get in the next 2 months. So pretty important for him, Bill.
All right, Lindsay, we look forward to your reports from the sideline. Yes, it was a year ago in week 3 of the preseason where Ezekiel Elliott played for the first time in a Cowboys uniform. And, Babe, I think that set the tone for the Cowboys in the regular season, how he took it to the Seattle defense that game.
Bill, I always say that players announce themselves. They kind of let you know, hey, I'm here. And Zeke Elliott did that in that game at Seattle. DeMarcus Ware did it as a rookie in Seattle in his first preseason game where you just said, whoa, okay, this DeMarcus Ware, he could be something special, and he was.
Yes. And speaking of DeMarcus Ware, he'll be joining us a little bit later on the telecast in the second half as the Cowboys will kick off to start this one. Bill Jones, Babe Loffenberg, and Daryl Johnston up here in the broadcast booth. Should be a good one tonight as the Cowboys will open the regular season 2 weeks from tomorrow, a Sunday night game against the New York Football Giants. Cordero Patterson, the former Minnesota Viking, who has returned 5 kickoffs for touchdowns in his NFL career, a 2-time Pro Bowler as a kick returner, is the deep man for the Raiders. And it will not be Dan Bailey who will be doing the honors kicking off for the Cowboys. Instead, it's Sam Irwin-Hill, and we are underway. Cordero Patterson will let it go through the end zone, and Derek Carr and the Raiders will take over at their own 25-yard line. Sean Lee making his 2017 preseason debut. Jason Garrett says that he should see about 8 to 12 snaps. He's been nursing a hamstring injury in the preseason. Number 50 is out there. You see the career numbers for him. So important to this Dallas defense. And this will be a big test for the Cowboys against Derek Carr and the Raiders offense.
And Bill Jones, I must tell you, you cannot use nursing and Sean Lee in the same sentence, okay? The guy's too tough to be nursing anything.
That's exactly right. And coming off to a virtually injury-free season, Sean Lee, Derek Carr, and there is Marshawn Lynch for 4 on the first down carry. Beast mode, the new Oakland Raider, a native of Oakland. And the Miller Lite starting lineups for the Cowboys on defense: DeMarcus Lawrence and Benson Mayowa, former Raider, the defensive ends. The linebackers, you got Damian Wilson, Anthony Hitchens in the middle, and Lee, the weak side backer. And the secondary, Scandrick and Carroll, the veteran corners, and Jeff Heath and Byron Jones, the safeties on 2nd and 6 for Oakland. And Carr's first pass is complete to Amari Cooper for a first down, a pickup of 9 yards.
And this is kind of a traditional run set. You've got 2 tight ends in there. That's one of the things that Oakland does well, is they can come out and they can run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. They can get you defensively thinking about that running game with personnel, and then all of a sudden be able to open that formation in the passing game.
2 big additions, Daryl, for the Raiders in the offseason. One was Marshawn Lynch at running back, the other Jared Cook at tight end. So they're giving Derek Carr even more weapons offensively.
It's apparent they like to go with that 2 tight end look, and that ball is overthrown. Scandrick defending on Michael Crabtree, and some words for Crabtree as he gets up.
Is he saying anything like you're average, you're an average receiver, or ball just sailed there on Carr? Orlando Scandrick gets up a little face to the shove. I can see why Crabtree took exception. Orlando Scandrick, who played so well last week against Indianapolis.
He looks to have a big season as Cowboys go to the nickel now as Anthony Brown comes in at the right cornerback. Scandrick in the slot. Cordero Patterson is in there as Crabtree came out of the game. There's Scandrick, and he's coming on a blitz. Carr with time, throws high to the sideline to Patterson. It's complete and it's going to bring up a third down.
I think that's one of the guys that Oakland brought in the offseason too. You mentioned Marshawn Lynch and Jared Cook, but Cordero Patterson as a return guy, and then as a receiver, working with Norv Turner up in Minnesota, he really took some strides the last couple of years. He really was on that verge of becoming a really complete wide receiver with the route running skills as opposed to just a speed guy.
He had 52 catches last year for the Vikings. Of course, Derek Dooley, the Cowboys wide receiver coach, coached Cordero Patterson at Tennessee in college. Third down and 4 from the 44-yard line. Empty backfield for Derek Carr. Gets it out quickly behind the intended target, Amari Cooper, with Nolan Carroll defending. And Nolan Carroll wishes he would have come up with that one.
Carr misfiring here early on in this football game. I'm not so sure, Daryl, that he didn't think that Cooper was going to just run a little hitch route, because he's not going to be that far off on that throw, because that was way behind him. I think he thought he was getting a hitch. Cooper ran the slant.
Well, I think that's why Nolan Carroll was upset, because he was beat inside. If the throw was on the mark, that's a first down for the Raiders.
Marquette King, the punter for the Raiders. Lance Lenore, the rookie out of Western Illinois, with the return out to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Cowboys will take over on offense. Dallas defense does its job after the 39-yard punt and 10-yard return for Lenore.
Looking for a new car?
Yeah.
John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys on offense, and Dak, what a rookie season he had. A Rookie of the Year season. Got off to a nice start in his first appearance of this preseason a week ago, as the Cowboys on the first drive last week went 95 yards, and he was 4 for 4 for 79 yards on that drive, starting at his own 26 this time. And there's Ezekiel Elliott for the first time this preseason. Muscles his way forward to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 6 upcoming for the Cowboys. And the Miller Lite starting lineups for Dallas. The Pro Bowler Tyron Smith at left tackle. Chaz Green gets the start at left guard. Pro Bowlers Frederick and Martin, along with Lyle Collins up front. And the backs and receivers, Zeke, Dez, Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, and the 10-time Pro Bowler Jason Witten at tight end. 2nd and 6 from the 30. And right up the middle, there goes Zeke. Close to the first down sticks. It's going to be a 3rd and short coming up. Last week, Cowboys came out in the no huddle, going 95 yards for the touchdown.
Just come straight ahead downhill right into the middle of that offensive line. And really one of the things you saw pre-snap was moving Jason Witten across, changing formation. The adjustment that forced with the Raiders. We'll see if Scott Linehan does more of that during the course of the game.
We talked about getting Zeke 3 to 4 carries before the game. He's got 2. You hand it to him here, then you get him off the field, right? Three plays, 3 carries.
First down, sideline.
Dez in motion this time. And trying to get forward to the first down. And it appears, working that right side behind Lyle Collins, that he has the first down. Not by much.
Well, they're going to measure it here.
Walt Anderson is the referee tonight.
Quite honestly, I thought he had made it by, I don't want to say a considerable distance, but not measurable. But I defer to Walt Anderson. And by the way, Walt Anderson, we all know what's happening down in the Gulf there, and Walt Anderson lives in the Houston area, as did Byron Boston, one of the other officials in tonight's game. They drove up on Thursday to get out of that, but their families are still back there in Houston. So you can imagine Walt Anderson, the gentleman you see there with the white cap on, he's got a lot on his mind besides just officiating a football game. And they're not quite sure when they're going to be able to go back, because we know the situation down there. And they stretch the chains, and yes, indeed, he got it. I told you considerable. Define considerable. Well, Daryl, you're a smart man. Define considerable.
Anything more than necessary.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know if that's true, but I like it. I'm going to go with that.
Walt Anderson from Sugar Land, Texas, a Houston suburb. And our thoughts are with all of those down in South Texas dealing with Hurricane Harvey and the aftermath, which now tropical storm for several days. In fact, the Cowboys set to play in Houston on Thursday night. Raiders jump.
Yeah, blowing this one dead, and so that must be
against the Cowboys.
Yeah, a false start, unless they felt like the defense was going to get to the quarterback before. Just so you know, they will blow it dead. If that defensive end is going to come around the corner and take a shot at the quarterback, they'll blow it dead then.
I mean, there was nobody unabated to the quarterback, and I know that Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin on this team are both very, very quick, but that was a clean pocket, a clean opportunity for the Dallas offense to be able to run that play.
Yeah, we want a free play.
Jason Garrett is asking, hey, why we didn't get our free play? Why'd you blow the whistle dead? Again, if that defensive end is going to come around that corner and get a free shot at your quarterback, they blow it dead. They don't want him taking that shot, but I didn't see that happening in that situation.
By the way, that defensive end, the left defensive end, only happens to be Khalil Mack, who was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year last year. Big assignment for Lyle Collins. And up the middle, taking the slide for the first down, Dak Prescott.
Good job by Dak Prescott here. And Daryl, I think one of the best things that Scott Linehan did as play caller last year was not run Dak Prescott. The urge is to say, hey, I got this athletic guy. Let's make him make plays with his legs. He didn't really do that.
No, and it's going to give you long-term success. Let him get in the pocket, see how this game kind of evolves, get used to the speed of the game, getting through his progressions.
And he will run when he needs to do that. But excellent use of the feet right there.
This guy will run too, Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, so Zeke has his hearing on Tuesday, and there's been some talk if he does have to serve a suspension, how much does Dak Prescott factor into the run game for the Cowboys?
Well, there's Zeke's fourth carry, and he's not going to factor in anymore because you saw him go off the field here. It said, okay, we've seen enough.
I don't think much, Bill. I really
don't either.
I think they've got that covered with McFadden and Morris.
One issue I had with Carolina was they ran Cam Newton too much. I don't care how big you are. You keep getting hit. You keep getting your quarterback hit like that, he won't last.
First pass, Cole Beasley has the first down inside the 40.
They can roll a lot of stuff at you. We've seen the power running game, 2 tight ends, and Cole Beasley, I mean, he's becoming one of those slot guys that just, I mean, you really got to start to think about doubling him.
I've said it many times, Daryl. He is literally uncoverable in the slot. I don't care who you put out there on him. You play him with one guy, they cannot cover the man.
Elliott back in there. There's a pickup of 10 yards to Beasley. And there was movement from Witten, the tight end.
False start, number 70, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
There was movement from Martin at right guard.
Go back to Cole Beasley catching the football, and he catches it so well. The entire team did last year. They had the fewest drops in the NFL last year. The Cowboys did 8 drops. There you see the numbers there. Number 1 in the NFL. 2 years ago they led it as well. Derek Dooley, the Cowboys receivers coach on the Cowboys sideline, has done a heck of a job. And we talked about it, Daryl. Everybody talks about receiver speed, this, that. Number 1 thing, catch the ball.
A wide open Jason Witten for 10 yards.
Well, we know that guy can catch the ball.
Over 1,000 catches in his career.
Such a good feel for that little soft spot. And again, that's one of the things that I think that Dak Prescott did a really nice job last year's rookie season. And it still has to be part of that. When that first read is there, take it. Take what they're giving to you. Let Jason Witten, let Cole Beasley run after the catch.
There's Derek Dooley, the receivers coach for the Cowboys, former head coach at the University of Tennessee. And there's Elliott, getting close to the first down. He's got it.
There you go, feed him. And that is, by the way, Zeke Elliott, not Jumbo Joe Looney, who impersonated Zeke Elliott during practice this week at the Ford Center. Now, I don't know where Jason Garrett went to school, but 3 to 4 is not 5, Daryl, and that's 5 carries for Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, Princeton education.
He also said 8 to 12 snaps for Zeke. Franchise record. His rookie season last year. They'll dump it off to Elliott. Back near the line of scrimmage.
Wow, that was just a Dak Prescott having eyes in the back of his head right there, because
yeah, he got lucky.
Look at it, he's up. I think Zeke's hollering for the ball. Now, I don't know, Daryl, if Zeke had a free release, meaning he did not have to pick up that linebacker, or he said, oh, that's my guy. Dak, my guy's about to hit you.
Yeah.
Which was it?
He missed an assignment. That was his guy.
You saw
at least, excuse me, he bailed him out and said, my guy, Dak, I'm over here. I'll help you out.
You saw 71, Lyle Collins, the right tackle, dealing with Khalil Mack on the other side.
Now, here's a strange thing, too, as Zeke gets tripped up here for no gain. The Raiders had the fewest sacks of any team in the NFL last year, 25. And yet they have the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, who is a pass rusher over there, in Khalil Mack.
And Bruce Irvin on the opposite side, who's pretty darn good.
And I always think, I guess conventional wisdom will tell you that sacks are tied to pressure, and that's tied to takeaways. They were last in the NFL in sacks. They were tied for second in intercept. They were just 2 off, excuse me. NFL lead for interception. So in that situation, the rush did not correlate to interceptions.
Irvin and Mack combined for 18 of the 25 sacks. Relief, go to helpsalvationarmy.org or text STORM to 51555. The Salvation Army doing the most good. Cowboys and the Raiders here in Arlington, a 50-yard, 12-play scoring drive, your Ford scoring drive. 7 minutes, 21 seconds taken off the clock. It ends with a Dan Bailey's 42-yard field goal.
That looks very familiar, doesn't it, Bill? 7.5-minute drive, and it's what the Cowboys did so well last year, just chew time off the clock.
Especially early in games, too.
Yeah, and you'd love to put it in the end zone, but get a Bailey field goal out of it.
Cordero Patterson about 7 yards deep. That's a test for the special teams. He's run out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Good job by the Cowboys. Kick off coverage. Over 5.5 minutes left in the first. This game brought to you by AT&T. Mobilizing your world. As the Raiders take over at their own 19-yard line. Raiders with one of the best offensive lines in football.
Got a little better a couple of days ago.
Yep. Donald Penn, the left tackle, number 72. His holdout was over. He's practiced twice. He's in the game at left tackle right now. And there's Sean Lee with the hit on Lynch. He struggles forward. Lee loses his helmet.
That's all the film study from Sean Lee. This is kind of that first week where they game plan, but just look at the feel and watch him fill the hole. Gets across the face of Marshall Newhouse. So Sean Lee, one of the more difficult guys to block, not only because of the athleticism, but there's no stone left unturned in his preparation.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And you saw the helmet come off at the end there, Darryl. I think he's the kind of guy, if you say, we forgot your helmet, he'd say, no worries, I'm playing anyway. No, the league won't allow you to play. No, I'm playing.
He's Witten-like in that regard. Marshawn Lynch out of the backfield, away from Anthony Hitchens, short of the first down.
Yeah, watch the hustle by Sean Lee here now. He's going to go up and engage the offensive line in the blitz. So he's going to come all the way up here, and then he's peeling out to get in the coverage. And he's in on the tackle all the way to the sideline.
That's why defensively, you always want to turn it back in, because you got people coming from inside out. And you're counting on them that they're going to be hustling. And I don't think you have to look up to see if number 50 is going to hustle to the football, do you?
No. And it's a cornerstone of what Rod Marinelli teaches as a defensive coordinator.
Of course, a couple of years ago, Bill, as you know, he was knocking out his own people. Sean Lee.
From the 28, 3rd and 1, rolling right is Carr, and has a wide open receiver, Patterson, for the first down.
We know what kind of kick returner Cordero Patterson is. You like him as a receiver as well, Darryl?
I think he's getting ready to take that next step. I really do. We've had him the last couple of years up in Minnesota. You could see the growth. He got away from being a speed guy. I think Norv Turner and Scott Turner were huge for him being in that offense up in Minnesota, because he understood the necessity to be very distinct with your route running, quickly in and out of breaks, not just straight ahead speed all the time.
Funny how big he is and how fast he is too. I mean, he's 6'2", 220, runs 4.4. Don't we all? Shouldn't sound like I'm surprised.
Lots of running room that time, all the way out to midfield. Jeff Heath was the first to make contact with Dwayne Washington, a former Texas Tech Red Raider. 19-yard pickup.
That's a very good offensive line. If the Cowboys aren't the best offensive line in football, it's the one that's on the field for the silver and black here in the Oakland Raiders. Gave up the fewest sacks last year in the NFL. And that's a good test for this defensive front seven of the Cowboys.
Especially the interior guys. The two guards, Osimile and Jackson, Rodney Hudson the center. Three of the highest paid offensive linemen in football too. Amari Cooper stretching out for that one. Anthony Brown with the hit knocks it away.
Derek Carr's just not been sharp early on here in this game. For him, that's an easy pitch and catch comeback on the outside. You just throw the receiver back down the sideline, he catches it, gets out of bounds, but he's had a couple of balls sail on him here for some reason. never know if the balls are slippery, or I try to make as many excuses as possible for the quarterback, Darryl.
You guys always stick together.
No, but he's been off so far. That won't continue, though.
And there's Washington. Sean Lee again in on the tackle. Malik Collins as well.
All right, Darryl, you were one of those guys that they got their 8 to 12 plays and got off the field once upon a time. Yeah. So how important is
what
this?
Was that?
How important is this dress rehearsal to really feel like you got something going for the regular season?
It's really a confidence thing. For Sean Lee, not having been able to have the opportunity to be out there playing, I think it's more important for him because it's just from a mental standpoint. The coaches are going to tell you you're fine, but you really have to be fine. You have to be in a position where, okay, I need a couple of collisions. I feel good. I'm ready to go.
Third down on the slant. That's first down inside the 40 to Cooper.
That was a little better. Talk about Sean Lee, too. He said, I want 40 to 50 snaps in the preseason to get myself ready. He obviously hasn't had them. First game back for Sean Lee.
But I think this is a good team for him to get the majority of his snaps against, because you're going to see a lot of different stuff. It's not a one-dimensional team. He's going to see some good running. He's going to see a good passing attack. So Oakland's a balanced team. He's going to get a nice. He's going to get a nice variety of looks this evening.
From the 37, first down. There's a whistle.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
For Darrell Patterson. So as far as football conditioning goes, for a linebacker like Sean Lee, who's going to have to play 4 quarters against the Giants 2 weeks from now, how do you go about that in the preseason if you're not getting very many snaps?
Well, you make sure you're doing everything in practice, all your conditioning, all your dynamic movement there, because it is important, because we talked about it earlier. One of the cornerstones for Rod Marinelli is hustle. So we've seen these guys, and when the play ends, he wants to see all 11 defenders in that frame. And that's where they get their measuring stick for the hustle grades.
It's Jared Cook. That's about, well, it's a little closer to the end zone. The spot on the field when he was a member of the Green Bay Packers in January.
If you forget Jared Cook, he was the man who on 3rd and 19 goes one side of the field to the other and catches that ball on the sideline in the playoffs. It allowed Green Bay to ultimately kick the winning field goal.
Almost exactly the same
spot
on the field.
Yeah.
35-yard line. Mason Crosby kicked the field goal. That was with 3 seconds left in the game. Jalen Richard gets away from Lee. Richard, who was a tryout player for the Raiders last year and had a very nice rookie season.
And one thing the Cowboys have done very well this year is they've had that, as Rod Marinelli calls it, the cut. Outside guy, inside guy, and they're perfectly in position here to start with. And then you see him shake the tackle from Sean Lee, juke around Orlando Scandrick. But the Cowboys get a false start here. Cowboys have done an outstanding job of tackling. Actually, we're going to get encroachment here, but anyway.
Neutral zone infraction, number 96, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's one of those things, Darryl, and the Cowboys have, on 3rd down, have only allowed 21% conversion in the preseason. It's one of those things, you talk about defense, all this stuff, you kind of forget tackling. It's at the core of it, but you never say, oh, that's a good tackling team. But they are. They have been, at least in the preseason.
And the clock winds down
is the end
on
of the
first
quarter.
quarter of play. Cowboys lead the Raiders 3-0. Oakland threatens when we come back to AT&T Stadium. 7-Eleven. Grab all 7 collectible Dallas Cowboys cups with your favorite players exclusively at 7-Eleven. Start of the second quarter, Bill Jones, Babe Loffenberg, Daryl Johnston, Lindsey Draper down on the sideline as Derek Carr and the Raiders. A drive that started at their own 19-yard line, threatening here. Into the end zone. Cordero Patterson. First play of the second quarter, and just like you talked about Cordero Patterson, Daryl Johnston, and his upside in the NFL, there he is for the touchdown grab.
Yeah, just a nice little skinny post on the outside, and you can see both the defenders getting there a little bit late, so possibly a communication breakdown because Jared Cook did not run anything to hold them on the opposite side.
They just seam right up the middle, and good throw by Carr here. We're actually going to see an example of that with Dak Prescott from last season a little bit later here in the first half, but they just get him right in the seam, and nobody's there to defend it.
Giorgio Tavecchio with the point after. Yes, they still have Sebastian Janikowski. No good. It's 6-3.
Just watch the seam coming right up in here. Cowboys play what's called just a basic 3-deep coverage. Safety doesn't get over in time. Jeff Heath. Again, Carr with a good read. That's a nice body to throw to, too, isn't it, Daryl? 6'2", 220 heading down that seam. You like to get a big body in that tight end type of guy because just presents a bigger target. Quarterback gets it up there high. Keep all the underneath coverage from undercutting the football, and your guy goes up and gets it.
Well, here we are worrying about the younger guys in the secondary, and that's Nolan Carroll and Jeff Heath. You know, 2 guys you think would be pretty good in this defense at this point, and there seemed to be a little bit of confusion on that coverage.
And those younger guys being the rookie draft picks, Chido Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, who we haven't seen any of her the last couple of weeks, and won't see tonight. Duke Thomas, we will see on defense a little bit later. He's the deep man on this kickoff. As Tavecchio missed the extra point. A 6-3 lead for Oakland. And from 3 yards deep in the end zone. Second possession of the game for Dallas at their own 20-yard line. Darren McFadden in for Zeke. And there's McFadden, a former Oakland Raider, first-round draft pick of the Raiders.
He'll get a chance to go. Excuse me. He'll get a chance to go up against his team again. Cowboys will travel to Oakland later in the season, and in fact, they'll see just about everybody they played in the preseason.
It's kind of strange.
Again, very strange. Started with Arizona. They'll be out there in week 3. Indianapolis, they will not see who they played last week, but they will see the Los Angeles Rams again.
That's when you train on the West Coast and then you're playing the AFC West and the NFC West in the regular season. That's what happens. Jason Witten, that's a first down, hit by Bruce Irvin.
That's a big hit by Irvin at the end of this, and I remember it was in Oakland in the preseason. Tony Romo threw Witten the ball, and Witten ended up with the lacerated spleen at the end of it. He takes a big hit here from Irvin, but unless the spleen has been relocated to his head, he should be. Remember asking when Jason Witten played in that opener against the Giants there with the spleen, and there was a question, would he play? I asked the doctor, what's the worst thing that could happen? He said, you could die. He said, you bleed out. I said, okay, it's a pretty bad worst thing.
You've told Jason that, right? He knows that.
Yeah.
Dak with all sorts of time. Going deep. And beyond Dez Bryant.
Wow. What a great pass protection play that was. And there's Dez Bryant.
Yeah, but watch this, though. I mean, moving all the way to the right. and then the throwback kind of all the way to the backside to the left sideline. Just got a little bit more air under it.
Yeah, exactly. A little more air. Let those go get it. But that was, you throw the ball 60 yards downfield, which that ball was. You're not going to hit all of them, but they were close. I always consider those investments, though, Daryl, because all of a sudden that DB said, "Whoa, that didn't feel good seeing that guy run by me." Now you give him a little cushion. Now you start completing balls underneath him.
That DB was T.J. Carey. A whistle at the snap.
This is the first charge timeout, Dallas.
So with 13:22 to play here in the second quarter, the Cowboys take a timeout. The official tractor of the Dallas Cowboys. Find a dealer at myjohndeeredealer.com/football. Hey, babe, get your stopwatch out. And how much time did Dak have to throw there?
Well, this is why Dak will not have a sophomore slump, okay? You get this kind of pass protection. This is a 5-man rush. Look at that pocket. That's 7-on-7. No, where they're not allowed to rush you.
3.57 seconds. Downfield over Bryce Butler, incomplete. There's a flag.
I think that's going to be a hold as opposed to a pass interference, Bill, as he was running that seam again that we saw the Raiders score on, this time from the left side for the Cowboys. Raiders hit it on the right side for the touchdown to Patterson. Walt Anderson.
Pass interference, number 38, defense. First down, spot of the foul.
All right, it's even better for the Cowboys. As Walt Anderson said, spot of the foul for pass interference. If it's a defensive hold, it's an automatic first down, but just 5 yards. So worked out well for the Cowboys.
Up to the 41-yard line. First down for this first team offense. Tyron Smith remains in the game at left tackle. Dak with a play fake. That's James Hanna, the tight end, out of the backfield, out of Flower Mound High School at the University of Oklahoma. Down on the sideline, Nate Newton, the 6-time Pro Bowler, joins us. Nate, what are you seeing from this offensive line, the first teamers?
Hey, man, they're hanging in there. They're looking good. Nice pass to James Hanna. Like you said on that bomb to Dez, he had all day, man. Sophomore jinx, we don't know until the season starts, but right now in this preseason game, Dak is looking sweet.
He is at the 29-yard line. It's great to see James Hanna back, too, after an injury-plagued season last year. Him and Jeff Swain. There's running room for McFadden. That's a first down inside the 10.
All right, Daryl, this is just USC student body right. Look at this.
Yeah.
Pull everybody, including the tight end, Jason Witten.
Lyle Collins out front, blocked down at the tight end position, wrap around with the two guys, but then a nice move by Darren McFadden to get about 5 to 7 more yards once he got one-on-one in the secondary.
Oh, he looks real nice, and I'm telling you, that's the difference there. I think in our offensive line and this offensive line, they're very athletic. They get out on the edges, they get corners, and they make things happen.
19 yards down to the 10-yard line. There's Witten. There's 6. Play fake to McFadden, and then Dak to Jason Witten.
When you have a running game, all things work.
Just like Nate says, Daryl never seems to fail. Watch the linebackers bite the run fake, and they come up too late. Jason Witten sneaks in behind them.
Yeah, but a nice job by Jason Witten. He pressed the outside shoulder of the safety to open up the inside. A lot of guys will go straight up the field on that one and kind of shorten that down, make a more difficult throw for your quarterback. But Jason Witten, a nice job pressing that outside shoulder against Carl Joseph, the safety.
I recall the dress rehearsal last year in Seattle. Prescott to Witten. History repeats itself.
Of them were on first down and converted to first downs. That's pretty impressive.
Reminds me of last week.
Yeah.
Kind of did the same thing last week against the Colts early on, the first team offense. Here's Patterson trying to get outside. Sammy Seamster forward to run him out of bounds. There is a flag.
Obviously, the value of that kick returner has gone downhill a little bit. Now with the kickoff move to the 35, guys booting it deep, and then a touchback coming out to the 25, and you have to wonder, are you not better off just fair catching the ball, getting it at the 20? Fair catch, excuse me. Just take the touchback, get it at the 25, than trying to return it.
There's no foul for an illegal block. The block was not blindside. It's first down.
Of course, when you have Cordero Patterson, he has the NFL record 109-yard kickoff return. Lindsay on the sideline. Hello.
Yes, Bill, in the kickoff closer to the beginning of the second quarter, Duke Thomas, number 26 cornerback, suffered a left knee injury. He was able to walk off with help, but he is getting x-rays right now.
All right, thank you. Cowboys can ill afford another injury in their secondary. The depth very depleted at the cornerback position from the 15-yard line. Washington breaks a tackle, and that was Jalen Smith coming up. Number 54, Jalen Smith, who made his debut a week ago. In there now, Sean Lee is out.
That's one of the things he's going to learn. He comes up and makes good contact, squares up, but not able to secure that tackle.
I think that Sean Lee is done for the day. Second down and 4. Washington again. 55, Stephen Paya in on the stop.
This is a good job by the Cowboys here because they go 2 deep safeties. Typically, it becomes a difficult job to stop the run. But here you see the safeties bailing out. Jeff Heath on the left side of your screen. So you're playing the run with 7 down in there. One of them being Orlando Scandrick because you got your nickel defense out there, Daryl. That's a really good job of run stopping at that situation.
Cowboys were so good against the run last year. They lost Terrell McClain, who's now a Washington Redskin, and Paya replacing him. He was with Cleveland last year. That's Michael Crabtree for the first down.
Well, I think the good thing about Stephen Paya, though, his familiarity with this defense, having played with Rod Marinelli up in Chicago, so very comfortable with the nose, the one technique in this style of defense. So good fit, had a nice training camp.
Okay, you say one technique, Daryl.
The nose.
Right on.
Yeah, opposite of where, Malik Collins is going to be the guy that's going to be your playmaker. Stephen Paya is the workhorse inside, keeping everything there on the line of scrimmage. The disruptive element is going to be the 3 technique, where Malik Collins plays that offset on the guard, that outside shoulder of the guard.
End around, here comes Patterson. Got 4.
We'll never forget, God rest his soul. We got a flag on the field here. Take a replay first here.
That's your 3. You can see how he's out a little bit wide in that pursuit down. A nice changeup coming back the other way, a little misdirection.
Holding, number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Still first down.
And you probably hear that 3 technique tackle a lot in the Rod Marinelli defense, and that's that guy, quickness, getting up the field, disruptive, as you say, Daryl. The nose tackle, the true 1 technique, he's kind of just holding the ground there.
Yeah, but it's such a big part. You go back through this defense and you look at the history. That was Warren Sapp in Tampa Bay. It's John Randall and Keith Millard in
Got any other Hall of Famers to throw out
Booger
there?
McFarland. Yeah, it is key to this defense. When you look at what this style of defense is all about, it's Malik Collins' position, it's Sean Lee's position, and then it's one of your safeties in the secondary.
Carr dumps it out to Washington. Paya with the first contact, and Jalen Smith swooping in.
Swooping and swiping. That's his little signature move now, that swipe at the end of the play. Basically meant it's just there to swipe everything away. All the bad things that have happened, we're going to swipe them away. It's a heck of a tackle here, Daryl.
Yeah, and good reaction. You're dropping back in coverage, you're running with a guy, all of a sudden you see it dumped off on the screen, and you're breaking back towards the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
Stephen Jones said before the game they hope that Jalen Smith can get twice the number of snaps this week that he had last week. He had 12 a week ago. They're up to 24, 25 snaps. Dwayne Washington, first hit by Collins in the backfield, and nothing there. Tank Lawrence among those in on the tackle. And Nate Newton on the sideline. What are you seeing in the trenches there, Nate?
Talking about number 55, Stephen Paya, man. He to me, he's won that job. He's taken that one position. That one position, like Darren said, it takes up a lot of space to make it where you free the linebackers. that Malik Collins, man, this team defensively will go as he go. As he get better as the year go on, this defense will come together.
All right, here you just play some zone. You can see how deep the Cowboys are. You let them complete it underneath, and you go and make the tackle.
Underneath, they went and made the tackle. Nolan Carroll.
You know, Derek Carr was a little erratic early in the game, but he's settled down. Now, how scary is this? I'm thinking we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys offense. They're methodical. They can run when they want to. So it puts your defensive line in that wait-and-see mode. So here we go. I mean, it's like we go offense, defense. Who we looking at, Cowboys or Raiders?
Very similar offenses, and that should be no surprise. Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders, a disciple of Scott Linehan. He worked with Linehan with the Vikings, the Rams, and the Lions. Marquette King with the punt. Lance Lenore driven back inside his 20. And runs out of bounds past the 30-yard line. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will take over on offense after a 54-yard punt and a 12-yard return by Lenore.
Hurry, it's the final day.
Back here at AT&T Stadium, this art piece located in the Northeast Monumental Staircase. Blue Field Explosions captures what happens on Sundays here at AT&T Stadium or on a Saturday night. Energy, collisions, tackles alike.
That's my favorite piece.
Is it?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, too, with the stairway and the...
Yeah. That one and the one where the guy continued on, just kept painting. Was only commissioned to do a part.
Just couldn't stop. Dak Prescott forward for a couple. Time to recognize tonight's Bank of America Offensive Featured Player of the Game. Tonight's player is the former Oakland Raider. He was the 4th pick in the draft some 9 years ago. Number 20, Darren McFadden. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. And in his career, 9 seasons, over 5,400 yards, 2 1,000-yard seasons. Of course, he was injury-plagued early in his career. One of those 1,000-yard seasons right here in Dallas 2 years ago. 2nd and 8. Prescott caught by McFadden. Near the first down. There's a flag in the middle of the field. A couple of flags down.
I think we're going to get a legal lineman downfield here is what's going to happen. Legal man downfield, because you can't necessarily just call it a lineman, but
ineligible downfield, number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Yeah, this isn't college football where you can just go. I think that college screen is so hard to defend.
Well, it's the timing, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be a screen pass, and sometimes the timing gets upset a little bit. I don't think Dak was supposed to extend that play a little bit.
You're exactly right. He had to double clutch a little bit back there. And those linemen, they kind of 1,001, 1,002, 1,000 go. They're obviously not looking back at the quarterback. But you're exactly right. Timing got a little disrupted, and Zach Martin's downfield.
Pushes the Cowboys back to the 27, 2nd and 13. And there's Bryce Butler, pickup of 11 there. Nate Newton down on the sideline as there is a Raider who is down on the field. Nate, you're taking a look at the Cowboys' offensive line, and one of the things for the Cowboys is Chaz Green playing left guard.
Yes, he's done a nice job. My hat's off to Lyle Collins, man. He got Khalil Mack on him, and he's been very patient in doing.
The injured player, David Amerson, as they attend to him, will take a break here at AT&T Stadium. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today for a chance to win big. Cowboys face a 3rd and 3 here. The injured player for the Raiders was David Amerson. We're happy to report he was able to walk off under his own power, but clearly in the concussion protocol. So from the 37. There's Beasley. A flag in the backfield.
Two things I don't like about it: where the flag was thrown, and the other thing is Zach Martin comes up holding
illegal
his right
hands,
arm.
hands to the face, number 71, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That is Lyle Collins, the right tackle.
Going to be behind the goalpost right here. And again, I agree with Nate. He's been working against some good edge rushers. You know, that looked like it was kind of on the shoulder more than it got under the face mask. And let's see where this hand goes. I didn't have a good angle there, but it looked like he might have got him just because of the blow to the shoulder pad knocked him back with a good punch.
That was Shalik Calhoun, number 91, rushing.
Well, you were working on your 3rd and 3 program. Now you get your 3rd and 13, and look at that. It's good. It's good work.
And under pressure and drop back inside the 15-yard line. That's the rookie Trayvon Hester.
And again, the Raiders did a lot of things well last year. made their first return to the playoffs since 2002. One thing they did not do well was rush the passer. They were last in sacks, but they do it pretty well right here.
Hester, a 7th-round draft pick out of Toledo. Cowboys drafted a couple of defensive tackles in the 7th round. The approach that the Raiders had in the draft was very similar to the Cowboys' approach. They went a lot of defense. Jalen Richard right up the middle, and there is another flag.
Preliminary signal is it's a hold against Dallas, but I don't know that I've seen holding when you're punting the ball, Daryl. Especially the flag came late.
Well, yeah, it may be up in formation, but never down when the ball is caught.
It's Laird Hayes, number 125, our side judge. Now he's telling Walt Anderson, yep, it's against the Raiders. That makes sense.
During the return, holding number 23, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. The first down, Oakland. Timeout.
That's Dexter McDonald. And with less than 5 minutes to play in the first half, Cowboys lead the Raiders 10-6. The Cowboys will host 2 more practices as part of 2017 training camp at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco on Monday and Tuesday. Last chance to see the Cowboys during camp. It's free. No tickets are required. Come to the Star in Frisco on Monday and Tuesday. Raiders on offense, Derek Carr at quarterback with 4:42 to play here in the first half. Taco Charlton in the game at right defensive end for Dallas, the first-round draft pick. And rolling right, hitting Jared Cook is Carr, and he's up near the first down. Looks like he has it. Byron Jones in on the stop. Of course, Dak Prescott was a 4th-round draft pick of the Cowboys last year. He is not the only 4th-round draft pick quarterback in the building tonight. Connor Cook was taken before Dak in the 4th round last year, and we'll see him in the second half.
And the Cowboys tried to go up and get him with that 100th pick. The Cleveland Browns owned that pick. They had the Cleveland Browns on the phone, thought they had a deal done, and they were going to take Connor Cook. That fell through, and sometimes the best laid plans go asunder, and they wound up with Dak Prescott in the 4th round. So it worked out okay.
It did work out just fine, and Connor Cook in a battle with E.J. Manuel for the backup quarterback job behind Derek Carr. It's second down upcoming for the Raiders. Jalen Smith in on the stop, and Nate Newton joining us down on the sideline. What are you seeing down there in the trenches now, Nate?
That was a nice tackle by Jalen, but it happened because Charlton slanted inside. And Jalen Smith rolled to the outside, played a little game there, came up with a nice play there. Nice hit for Jalen.
Got Charlton at right defensive end. DeMarcus Lawrence over on the left side. 2nd and 9. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Anthony Hitchens got his hand on this one.
You know, my question is, we see a lot of our veteran corners and safeties in the game. I wonder if our guys were a little bit more healthier, would we see them this deep in the game? I mean, some of these guys got some years on them. They got some miles on those legs. So I'm just wondering if would we see a younger guy if they were more healthy at this point.
And I think we definitely would. If Rouzier and Jordan Lewis, the 2nd and 3rd round picks, were available, they would be in the game right now. But they're not available. So it looks like these starters will go the entire first half. 3rd and long for Derek Carr. Pumps once, fires down the sideline. Amari Cooper, and he is headed to pay dirt.
Derek Carr is happy, and why not? Great pump fake down the middle of the field. He gets Byron Jones to bite on the pump fake on the seam up the middle, and then he comes out wide to Amari Cooper. And Cooper with tremendous speed out of Alabama. There's your pump fake. Byron Jones, bad angle, can't get off the hash, and it's a touchdown.
I think that's the biggest thing, babe, the bad angle, and really no impact on Byron Jones with that pump fake. Should not have affected him at all. But I tell you, he threaded that in between the corner and the safety. But I think you make a great point with the angle. I think it was just too flat coming in from that safety spot.
Sometimes that speed eats up your angle, too. You don't realize that Amari Cooper can fly.
Wow.
Amari Cooper going into his 3rd year out of Alabama, already gone to 2 Pro Bowls.
There he is back here. You take a look at him on the back end of that, and you know, maybe he hung a little bit too long with Cordero Patterson on the seam going up the numbers, but he's got to play that a little bit better. He's got to straddle that. He can't get caught inside just on that upward seam because that takes him out of the opportunity to get to that sideline.
One thing that's interesting too, Darryl, the Cowboys do not play a lot of cover 2 or the 2 safeties deep. I know everybody thinks Rod Marinelli, Tampa 2 and all that. They play a lot of man, but you have to wonder, clearly you're going to see the Raiders in the regular season, so you're going to show them a bunch of stuff that you may not be playing when they play you again.
There are some mind games that go on when you get a preseason opponent that you're going to play later in the season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, a couple of gadget plays here just to get people thinking about different things as you prepare.
And you know what I would do? I would put in the game plan exactly as you're going to play it during the regular season. But because the other team will say there's no way they're going to come back, play it, and then show it again.
But that wasn't a gadget.
Here's what they did in the preseason. Don't expect to see this.
This will not happen, and then you throw it at them. I should be a coach.
That was not a gadget play. That was just straight up the field.
Lance Lenore can't get out to the 20-yard line. Jack Del Rio, the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, of course a former Cowboys linebacker. His defensive coordinator is Kenny Norton, of course a former Cowboys linebacker. Definite Dallas flavor to this team.
And I thought last year the coach of the year, Darryl, was going to come down to somebody who played for the Cowboys. It was either going to be Jason Garrett or Jack Del Rio because they both did great jobs with the teams.
They really did. And you heard Nate talking about, you watch the style of play, and it's kind of like a mirror image with these offenses and what they're doing. And I think a lot of that is the influence of the time spent here in Dallas with Jimmy Johnson and North Turner, the impression that it made on Kenny and Jack.
Nice catch.
It was Terrence Williams. There is a flag down in the backfield,
Don't say it. Don't say it, Bill. Come on now. Cross your fingers and your toes, man. We need this play.
Illegal hands to the face, number 71. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
2 of them in about 5 plays.
And both take away first downs.
You thought the first one that was called on Collins was on the edge. We see Ken Norton there, the Raiders defensive coordinator, former Cowboy, former 49er. And I always loved Ken Norton as a guy, Darryl. Yourself?
One of the best guys you could have on your team. Great leader on the defensive side of the ball. Great practice player. Made me better going up against each other at practice.
Well, pretty good in games, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I could never put my hands on him. McMack tonight is what we used to call him.
And he was a part of 3 straight Super Bowl winning teams, twice with the Cowboys, and then he went to San Francisco and won one with the Niners. Jason Witten short over the middle for a pickup of 6 yards.
But Nate, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, we've had Lyle Collins get a couple of hands to the face penalties, but he is going up against some good edge rushers, and he did a great job with Khalil Mack on that last play. The athleticism, coming off that edge, and he's just staying completely square with him.
And he's going up against Mack here as well. Over the middle, there's Jason Witten, the 35-year-old. There's a flag down at the 30-yard line on the near sideline.
They got to pick up that cheese, fellas. That's too much cheese in the field right now. I'm telling you, when you look at this kid, man, where he started at in training camp, I'm talking about number 71, Lyle Collins, he's doing a nice job. You can correct that hands to the face. That's just a technique.
Illegal hands to the face, number 23, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a completed pass. First down.
With him staying.
Dexter McDonald called for the hands to the face on the Raiders side.
And great throw by Dak Prescott here, too. Look at it. That's a ball. You got to have the perfect trajectory over the linebackers, but under the safeties.
Under pressure.
Jason Witten show now. Somebody go down and tell Scott Linehan, hey, the guy's 35, okay? Brought that up to Des Bryant during the week. He said, he ain't old. He's Jason Witten.
1:54 to play in the first half. Cowboys trail 13-10. Babe, how about an illustration of the progress Dak made last season?
Well, we talked about the fact that the offense isn't going to change in terms of putting 50 plays into it. Dak Prescott will get to more within the offense. We'll roll it here. We see Cole Beasley going right up the seam. This is the last minute of that Giants game. This would have won the football game for him. He just doesn't see him. Then you come back, take a look at the progression of Dak Prescott after this.
It was incomplete. Third down upcoming.
So that was week 1. This is week 16 against Detroit at home. Basically the same play, same concept. You want to get that ball up in the seam, right up the numbers on the left side. We roll it here, and this time Dak Prescott says, I've been down that road. And he actually had missed it a couple times during the season. Not the throw itself, just the read. And there it is. You throw it into the seam. Again, we saw Derek Carr earlier in the game throw it for a touchdown. But Dak, after that game, Bill, as we see Chaz Green, he's a little hobbled. After that game against Detroit, we had him on the post-game show, and I said, before I could even start my sentence, I said, did you see that earlier? No, never would, but I got it now. And so, again, that's where people talk about expanding the playbook. The playbook won't expand, but Dak will get to more things within the plays that have been called, if that makes sense.
And you could see it from week 1 to December last year, just the progress that he made. This has been a concern for Chaz Green ever since college.
He's got an issue with dehydration, and he's a guy they're kind of counting on. They'd like him to be their left guard, but...
And Nate Newton down on the sideline as you look at the quarterback comparison, Carr versus Prescott. That's a concern, though, Nate. Chaz Green having to leave the game.
And talking to Brett Brown last year and Jim Myers, head trainer, they said this would be an issue going down the road. He has to keep a bottle of Gatorade just next to him all the time and drinking water and just keeping his fluids going through him. He needs to be prepared because he is that 5th guy. He's our 5th best guy, so he's got to stay up and ready.
Byron Bell, a veteran, in there at left tackle now. Pass to Ronnie Hillman, veteran running back in the game. He goes incomplete.
Lyle Collins is going to pick up his 3rd penalty of this game here, which is not good. Not good at all. We're still in the first half.
If it's the hands game, we can fix that. If it's the speed game, he just got to catch up. He got to hook up his
penalty has declined. 4th down.
They called holding on him this time, Big Nate. So we got it keyed up right here.
Yes. See, a guy, the Raiders bring that natural athletic ability and speed. This is what we need. And he can work on this and he can get better. He will be better going into the first game against the Giants from this little bit of work right here. And that's why we need progression as the weeks go on to get better and better as players. Well, I'm an ex-player. You too, Moose. You too, baby.
That was James Cowser, the edge rusher for the Raiders that time, 2nd-year man out of Southern Utah. The punt is bobbled. The Raiders able to hold on to it. Jalen Richard, 37-yard punt. That's T.J. Carey.
Babe, you mentioned, the 3rd penalty in just here in the first half, but you know what? He's got the hands to the face, and Nate talked about we can fix that. But I think that holding play, when you go to the ground, but he had his hands in the air. So he's not holding. Obviously, it was the weight going on. And he got underneath them. The rusher got underneath him at first, but I just think sometimes the officials kind of catch that out of the corner of their eye with the players going to the ground, and it's so hard for them not to throw that flag.
Well, sometimes I always call them anticipatory calls. Like if you see the guy go down, if this happened and this happened, well, this must have happened. If A and B happened, then C happened, but.
I saw A and C, but I wasn't really sure what was going on during that B portion.
But Lyle Collins will do well to not get a penalty the rest of this game because they're just drive killers at that point.
E.J. Manuel is the new quarterback for the Raiders. And pick up him about 5 yards.
E.J. Manuel comes in. Cowboys have not blitzed but maybe twice all game, and what does he get the blitz right in his face?
Manuel, a former 1st-round draft pick of the Buffalo Bills. For Darrell Patterson, stops short of the 1st down. Skandrick and Blanton in on the stop.
Mentioned Manuel being that 1st-round pick, and a lot of times people will say, why are they scouting this guy or that guy? He's going to be a top 5 pick. And the Cowboys don't draft until 20, and so many times that guy comes back to you. I mean, you can start with Jamarcus Russell, work all the way down the list, and so you don't want to be surprised when that guy becomes available 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and you say, boy, we never did any homework. So that's why they're out there looking at these guys when you think that you're not going to have a realistic shot at drafting them.
Down to 35 seconds, near 30 seconds left in the half. As the play clock winds down, timeout called.
This is the first charge timeout, Oakland, 30-second timeout.
All right, Daryl, Jack Del Rio, I believe, came down and asked for that timeout. Played with both Jason Garrett and Jack Del Rio. Did you know you were looking at coaches?
Jason Garrett, absolutely, without a doubt, just sitting in the meeting rooms with him. Kenny, yeah, I could see it. Jack had that manner about him, really controlled the defense. So, yeah, you look back on it, and I could see Kenny and Jack, but Jason was the obvious one. I mean, immediately, just his demeanor.
This game brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world.
What I really love is Jason's mom told Jason's father, Jim, I did not send my son to Princeton to be a football coach. And $5 million a year later, I think she's okay with it.
Jameis Olawale Oh, he pulls up the former member of the North Texas Mean Green. There's a Cowboy down back near the line of scrimmage. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage as well.
It's Anthony Hitchens down.
Oh, my.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask, number 74. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. It's still third down.
Was a 59-yard run by Olawale, called back. The bigger concern right now is the Cowboy down on the field, Anthony Hitchens.
See, that's Dr. Dan Cooper there. He's the gentleman who did the surgery on Jalen Smith's leg. Told the Cowboys basically, we think we can get this guy back. So he's checking him out there. Doesn't look great, but I was out in training camp there, Bill. You were too, when Tyrone Crawford went down, and I'd have been hard-pressed to tell you it was not a season-ending injury that Tyrone Crawford had, and they put him on the cart, and he was banging the cart. Matter of fact, I thought, okay, well, in addition to whatever happened to his leg, he's now got a broken hand because he hit it so hard. Obviously, they think they'll get Tyrone Crawford back for the regular season.
For the start of injured.
And Tyrone Crawford at the time.
Therefore, Dallas is charged with their third and final timeout because the injury occurred inside of 2 minutes.
And Tyrone Crawford at the time feared that he had suffered another Achilles injury like he did a few years ago in training camp. See Jalen Smith. Anthony Hitchens last year was the Cowboys' third leading tackler, 104 tackles on the season.
Well, you certainly hope for the best there, not just for him, but he's been a vital part of this Dallas defense. He's been playing very well in this preseason. And the flexibility that he brings you, he can play just about any linebacker position there. So fingers crossed on Anthony Hitchens.
He has been playing, starting at middle linebacker for the Cowboys. And when Jalen Smith comes in the game, he moves over to Sean Lee's weak side linebacker spot.
I think he's going to be right here as he goes up.
Wow.
Didn't really see a lot there. He went up into the pile and reversed out, but nobody fell. The good news is the pile didn't move and shift and go on top of him. And here's another good sign, I really think. Jim Maurer is on your screen left. That's Britt Brown on screen right, obviously helping him off the field. But I don't think either one of them would let him walk if Dr. Cooper, when he did his assessment out there on the field, would have said, yeah, I think we've got a substantial knee injury. Now, he's not putting a lot of pressure on it, but I remember William Floyd in San Francisco insisted on walking off the field after a knee injury and did as much damage walking off the field on it as he did getting it hurt.
Raiders are going to take a knee here with 19 seconds left in the half. Another thing to remember is the Cowboys also, although we haven't seen him so far this preseason, re-signed Justin Durant, a veteran linebacker who can definitely play some football if Anthony Hitchens can't go at the start of the regular season. As the clock winds down here in the first half, the Cowboys trailing the Oakland Raiders 13-10. The injury to Anthony Hitchens definitely puts a damper on things as the first teamers go off the field. Half. We should see Cooper Rush in the second half at quarterback.
Who? Yeah, Cooper Rush getting his chance, and it'll be interesting. He has not played with the twos, Darryl, and while you have better players around you, and you always like that, you also have better players on the other side you're facing, so it'll be a good test for Cooper Rush.
All right, let's go down on the sideline in Lindsay.
Thanks, Bill. Coach, some uncharacteristic play from your offensive line in the first half. What were your thoughts on that?
You know, I thought we did a lot of good things on offense, and the most disappointing thing were the penalties. Every time we got something going, it seemed like one of those big plays was called back, and you're working from behind the chains. But I like how we ran the ball, I like how we threw it. We made some plays. We just got to eliminate the mistakes.
Cooper Rush starting the second half, getting some work maybe with the twos. What are you looking to see?
Just for him to continue to progress. You know, he has an opportunity to go out there and just execute ball plays. Do your job, you know, whether it's in the running game or the passing game, make good decisions. Hopefully we move the ball and score some points.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, good to see you.
The Jason Garrett interview brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams, the official paint supplier of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we heard Jason Garrett talking about Cooper Rush. I thought he had an excellent week of practice.
Well, that's where a lot of people don't understand. They see the game, but the practice is just as important.
DeMarcus Ware joins us in the second half. Babe goes to radio.
Welcome back to AT&T Stadium. Your score here is 13-10. The Oakland Raiders are ahead, but what matters now is that I have David Hellman and Nate Newton joining me now on the sidelines. Guys, we've got much to discuss. Starters getting a lot of playing time tonight. Nate, first, I have to ask you your thoughts on the offensive line and some of those penalties.
Lyle Collins opened it up. He started real well the first quarter. He got through Mack, the great outside rusher. He handled it. Then towards the end of the second quarter, he got a face mask. He got a holding. Those can be corrected. But like Jason said when you were talking to him earlier, you cannot have those type plays because they had big plays down the field. So I think they can clean that up. He's okay.
A lot of big drive killers, Dave. What did you see really out of the starters? Let's talk first the secondary.
Well, you know, we call this the dress rehearsal, and if this is the dress rehearsal, kind of concerning to see this defense. 2 coverage breakdowns lead to 2 touchdowns. You got to go back and watch it, obviously. We're here in real time, but it looks like miscommunications between the cornerbacks and the safeties. Saw on that last touchdown to Amari Cooper, Anthony Brown he thought he had help. That's what it looked like. Not so much for Byron Jones. Like I said, I don't know if it's concerning because it's the preseason, but if this is the game that's supposed to most resemble the regular season, that's something that you got to get in the film room and clean up.
And this is a really good litmus test because the Raiders are a playoff team, and Dak Prescott's getting some really good looks out there.
Oh, definitely. When you see the type of speed that they bring, especially with Amari Cooper, all you do, Jones has got to get a better angle. He hadn't seen this speed all camp. He got the sword, but it just cost him a touchdown. These guys are all right. Now, our defense, they're going to have to grow up. They're going to have to grow up and get used to playing. He's just new to the backfield, so we got to get a better play from our newer guys.
And that's, I mean, you've seen these safeties that play more reps in the preseason than any other position. Byron Jones and Jeff Heath have spent more time on the field than anybody else because they need those reps. Obviously, not as pretty as you would want for the dress rehearsal game, but that's why you've seen so much of these guys is they're going to have a lot of growing to do.
And let's talk now about the second half. We have heard before the game that Cooper Rush will be jumping Kellen Moore, getting some work with the twos. This could be a big opportunity for him tonight, Dave.
Hey, he's looked great through 3 preseason games. You got to keep it going, buddy. You got to look with the second team offense in practice this week. You know, I would put him on the 53 if the preseason ended tonight, but it doesn't. So you got 2 more games. He's going to play tonight. He's going to play against Houston later in the week. I think he's got to look good twice. I don't think you can rest on your laurels and hope that what you've done is enough to get you on this team.
You heard it from the helmet. Cooper Rush!
Their team rush over here. We are going to take a break, and we have much more coming to you from AT&T Stadium. Thank you so much, Nate and Dave.
Cowboys trail the Raiders 13-10 at halftime here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Bill Jones with Darryl Johnston, and we are now joined by former Cowboy DeMarcus Ware, who's been in the radio booth with the great Brad Shim in the first half. Babe's gone to radio. DeMarcus joins us for the second half. Your impressions of the first half?
You know, I see the guys getting on one accord. I see sort of spurts of a good team, and the guys are getting ready.
All right, when you look ahead to the second half, what are you looking forward to, Darryl?
Well, I think the most important thing in today's NFL is depth, and I think a lot of teams have that good starting lineup. This is the most important part here in the second half. DeMarcus was making the comment to me, here's where good teams are really kind of tried. What is the depth behind that starting group? I think the secondary is going to be good with that first group. I want to see some of these young guys step up and make
All right,
plays.
DeMarcus, what about that defensive line for the Cowboys in the first half?
The defensive line, you can see that they're getting a lot of push in the pocket, and that's what we wanted from, Collins. We got it from,
Stephen Paya.
From Stephen Paya. That's what you want from those guys. And the outside young guys, what they're doing, they're stepping up and being more consistent in pressure situations.
We look forward to getting DeMarcus's impressions of the first-round draft pick Taco Charlton in the second half, as well as the second half kickoff is straight ahead. The Cowboys trailing the Oakland Raiders 13-10. It will be Cooper Rush at quarterback for the Cowboys to kick off the third quarter when we come back to AT&T Stadium.
Modern life deserves a modern way to pay.
You excited?
It's sold out.
Don't fret, my friend. I master passed it.
You can use it online and on your phone.
I master passed it.
You got the tickets?
Onward!
Playing the hero? Priceless. MasterPass, the secure way to
Inside trade secret.
Start of the second half here in Arlington. If we welcome you back here to AT&T Stadium. Wonderful artwork at AT&T Stadium. Here is line of play where coaches' X's and O's are transformed to force fields of animated energy. Jason Garrett talking things over with the officials as the first half stats brought to you by Miller Lite. Rushing yards, Dallas leads 47-36. Raiders lead in passing yards and overall 188-148. First downs about equal. Time of possession about equal. And penalty yardage is about equal as well. And the scoreboard pretty close too. There is number 7, the rookie out of Central Michigan, Cooper Rush, expected to start at quarterback for the Cowboys when they go on offense, which they will do to start the third quarter. Look at the numbers for Cooper Rush in the preseason, as Kellen Moore expected to play in the fourth quarter. Might see some Luke McCown as well late in the game. But 26 out of 38 for 283 and 4 touchdowns. DeMarcus Ware, you had a chance to see Cooper Rush a couple of weeks ago, and the Cowboys played L.A. And it's going to be interesting to see how Cooper does in his 4th preseason game. Taking a knee is Lance Lenore, and the Cowboys will start at the 25-yard line. DeMarcus, what is it that you expect, or you hope to see out of Cooper Rush?
One thing you got to see with the quarterback from the first game to the third game is progression. And he's going to probably get a lot more playing time in this game. And so this gives him an opportunity to get those reps that he needs, to be that second, third string quarterback, however they end up doing it, and then have an opportunity to say, hey, he can be that player for us to benefit during the season.
Scott Linehan very emphatic during the course of the week that the relationship that he has with Kellen Moore, the time they've spent together, will not factor into this decision. It's going to be all based on performance.
Of course, he had Kellen Moore in Detroit as well as here in Dallas. And on a little waggle play to James Hanna to the 25, back to the line of scrimmage. Look at the Cowboys quarterbacks this preseason as Prescott with his numbers tonight, 18 out of 22 for the preseason. He has done for the preseason. Couple of touchdowns, a 141.2 rating. Cooper Rush up there at 125.2. 2nd and 10. Cowboys with the second team offensive line. And Alfred Morris fights his way forward for 3. How much does it help out Cooper Rush, Darryl, that he's able to play with the second teamers?
Well, I think Babe made a great point in the first half. You know, you're moving up from your third group to your second group. Well, that defense is also the second group for the Oakland Raiders. So you hope that it balances out, and that's what we talked about with the depth of a team. You know, the teams that are able to send out that second group of guys and still be really good with their production and their execution. You know, that'll be the difference for him today. He's going to see a different quality of athlete with the second team.
3rd down and 7. And trying to get to the first down sticks is the receiver Brian Brown. Dak Prescott, you saw his numbers for the preseason. They took up where he left off last week and where he left off last season, his Rookie of the Year season. I think he's in regular season form.
I think the thing that he did tonight, I saw him throw off a number of different awkward platforms and was still very accurate with the football. For a young guy, that's pretty impressive. Tonight you saw that last one when I think Ezekiel missed his assignment in pass protection. He was able to just side stuff off of an odd platform and make a nice throw.
And in key situations and pressure situations, he was able to still get the ball off and not create those big plays that can kill you in the later part of the game.
Dwayne Washington returning the punt, the former Texas Tech Red Raider. That's where the Raiders will take over on offense. A 55-yard punt for Sam Irwin-Hill, a 10-yard return for Dwayne Washington. A flag on the play. Walt Anderson will let us know.
Return. Illegal block in the back, number 41 receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So not good field position for the Raiders to start the third quarter for them. 13-10, Oakland leads it. You can help with Hurricane Harvey relief. Donate now. HelpSalvationArmy.org is the website, or you can text STORM to 51555. The Salvation Army doing the most good. Down on the sideline, Lindsey Draper has an injury report for us.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, a few guys are out. Duke Thomas, cornerback, is out for the evening. Chaz Green suffered an ankle injury on his left ankle. He is out for the evening, as well as Anthony Hitchens on that knee injury before the half.
All right, thank you very much, Lindsey. So it was not dehydration for Chaz Green, an ankle injury instead. Handoff goes up the middle to about the 10-yard line. A pickup of 3 yards. Elijah Hood, the ball carrier, rookie out of North Carolina.
I mean, you could see on this play, Irvin and Ash, they got a lot of penetration on this, but you can also watch Taco. Taco held the outside. The guy didn't have anywhere to run to give the linebackers a place to go.
You got David Irving and Richard Ash, the two defensive tackles in there right now, and Taco Charlton playing right defensive end. DeMontre Moore is on the other side. E.J. Manuel under pressure, and Taco is there amongst friends.
And that's what you want. You ended up getting pressure on the inside, creating more outside lanes for the guy to rush. There was nowhere for the quarterback to go, and being able to get in the end zone.
I don't know what kind of technique that tackle was using either. I mean, he was slow, and then he turned perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. He gave Taco Charlton a very short corner.
At tackle is David Sharp, rookie out of Florida, 6'6", 343 pounds, and the Raiders have been very high on him this preseason. But not on that play. Taco just raced past him. Taco had a sack a couple of weeks ago when DeMarcus Ware was doing the game. There's something about DeMarcus in the booth. Elijah Hood gets a lot of that yardage back, but it's well short of the first down, and so the Raiders will punt.
But still, those are some good yards for the Raiders offense right here. Dallas's defense needs to be a little bit better. Force that punting situation backed up with not the usual distance that you would have to get your punter from the line of scrimmage. So,
and they got to have a lot more lane integrity. When against the run, you got to be in your gap and make sure you just have your responsibility. Don't try to go out and go over beyond and make plays.
Marquette King, the Raiders punter. As Hood got 12 yards and got him out of a hole, and Marquette King sends Lance Lenoir all the way back to the 33-yard line where he calls for the fair catch. And Cooper Rush will be back out there after a 53-yard punt by Marquette King. Cowboys with decent field position though when we come back. How about that Taco Charlton?
Modern life
Back here at AT&T Stadium, our art tour continues. This piece of art begins with one word the Cowboys trying to do, not only tonight but throughout the season. Of course, that is win. They take on the Raiders. First teamers are out of the game. They played throughout the first half. In case you joined us late, Ezekiel Elliott had 6 carries for 18 yards in the first quarter. Alfred Morris in there at running back right now. So Cooper Rush is at quarterback, and you got a couple.
Well, I think you see a different style with Alfred Morris this season. He talked about being a little bit leaner, a little bit more dynamic, feels a lot more comfortable in the offense his second season. I think you can see it with his running style.
And he's one of those guys where you talk about Ezekiel Elliott, but you got McFadden and you have Alfred Morris, guys that are going to be able to still chew up the chains even though he's not in the game for the first 6 games.
And of course, Elliott has his hearing on Tuesday. Remains to be seen when a decision will be rendered. Cooper Rush steps up in the pocket. Now he'll run with it. Shows some athleticism. Has the first down past the 45-yard line.
That's one thing you don't want to see as a defensive end.
Going
the quarterback going up inside and getting yards.
Yeah, but look at that pocket as it breaks down. And it's a good, quick decision. I think that's one of the good things that Cooper Rush did on that play. Don't wait, because everybody will start to slide up. Once you see that opening in the front and the linebackers have dropped back, just tuck it down and get some yards.
First down. Play fake with time, going deep downfield, and the ball knocked away. Noah Brown, the 7th round draft pick out of Ohio State.
I think this guy's got a tremendous upside. He has only got 15 college games under his belt, so I think the potential is really good for this guy. I mean, he's a big body down the field. Just got to finish that catch. He does everything right but complete the catch. Watch, gets in good position, goes up, catches it at the highest point. Just can't get it cleanly established.
6'2", 222 pounds, and as you alluded to, he basically just played one season at Ohio State. Had 7 touchdown catches. Comeback route, Lance Lenore is collared at the 49-yard line. But the thing about Noah Brown is Cowboys going to keep him on the 53-man roster. They would probably have to keep 6 wide receivers to do that. And if you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, all of a sudden those decisions a week from now, things start getting tight on that roster. Four catches for 60 yards and a touchdown this preseason for Noah Brown. And he's been getting reps with the second teamers throughout training camp. That's Ronnie Hillman, and he stopped short of a first down.
And that's one thing that Ronnie Hillman brings to the game. He's one of those third down backs to where once he gets in the game, he can create so much mismatch with linebackers. And you can see that. I mean, he wasn't able to convert the first down, but he's one of those type guys.
It's become one of those positions that's really coveted. We talk about slot receivers, but that third down back that can get that mismatch in the passing situations against linebackers is becoming one of those players that teams are looking for.
Something the Cowboys are looking for. Lance Dunbar signed in the offseason with the LA Rams. Dwayne Washington calls for the fair catch at the 12-yard line. And DeMarcus Ware knows a little bit about Ronnie Hillman as well because they were teammates, of course, with the Denver Broncos. Back to AT&T Stadium in just a moment. And welcome back here to AT&T Stadium. Bill Jones with DeMarcus Ware and Daryl Johnston as DeMarcus returns to his old stomping grounds here. What's it like being up high in the booth here, DeMarcus? By the way, the fans are now seeing you.
I see everything.
Yeah.
I wish I could play it and be right here at this point.
The fans in front of us now pointing to the broadcast booth as they realize that DeMarcus and Daryl are both up here. And now all of a sudden everyone's taking pictures of DeMarcus and Daryl here in the TV booth at AT&T.
I think they're taking pictures of you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's what I'm going to tell my family anyway. Elijah Hood on the carry. But how about being back here? It was just like you, well, of course you live here anyway, so you are back home now.
Bring back old memories. I mean, you sit back there and you look at some of the guys I played with, being here with Daryl, learning from you guys in the broadcast booth. It's just amazing. It's awesome.
And still preparing like a player.
And still preparing.
Right. Down
still
here.
preparing.
He's ready to go.
Yep. That's exactly right. Second down for the Raiders. Pass goes incomplete. And it's fun watching DeMarcus Ware watch a football game from up top for the first time in your life, right? I mean,
from the first time in my life, and I'm breaking plays down, and I'm like, I wish I had this opportunity just to get away from the sidelines and almost be like an eagle and see over the top and see everything.
Because you were saying that even when you were injured in Denver, you would spend your time in the locker room, right?
I would spend my time in the locker room. I would watch film. I would still figure the guys out and do what I could to coach the guys up.
Third down for E.J. Manuel and the Raiders. Cowboys bring a linebacker, and the pass goes incomplete. Damian Wilson defending.
I actually talked with Leon Lett before the game and said, hey, I'm going to be with DeMarcus, so you got to give me some inside scoop on him. He said one of the coolest things he ever did, and you were out of the lineup that game against Seattle, he said by the end of the first quarter, DeMarcus had figured out their signaling system. He knew who the actual coach signaling was and who the dummy coach was signaling, and he could tell between run and pass at the end of the first quarter. And we're like, no, you can't. So he goes, I watched it, and I'm like, he's got it. He's got it completely broken down. So.
And that's one thing that I did, very well was if I'm just on the sideline, still watching the other team, trying to figure out what they're doing, anything that you can do to help the guys out, that's what you have to do.
So DeMarcus, did you ever play baseball growing up?
I played baseball in high school. I blew my shoulder out. I was a pitcher, played right field, and it pushed me to football. I guess that was a good thing.
Perfected at stealing the signals like they do in baseball. Monday at the Star in Frisco was a very special day. The Cowboys had the Ring of Honor members in attendance at the Star to unveil their pictures and numbers on the Ring of Honor walk presented by Dr. Pepper. Players said it was one of the most memorable moments of their Cowboy lives. Michael, Troy, Tom Landry Jr., Don Perkins, Roger, many Ring of Honor members in attendance. In fact, I think the only living Ring of Honor member who was not there was Larry Allen. But wow, what a day on Monday out there in Frisco. Cooper Rush from the 34-yard line. Contact downfield, and yes, there is the flag. Bryce Butler, receiving end.
Well, he's going to get the penalty call for defensive pass interference, but what a great job making the catch anyways.
Pass interference, number 23, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play
you can see how big Bryce Butler is.
First down.
I mean, those corners have no choice but to hold that guy. 6'3", 220, and they have no choice.
But again, this is nice location on the throw.
Right, the ball was thrown really well.
Cooper Rush, he's getting the back shoulder throw. It's down low. But, I mean, watch the end right there. I mean, with all that going on with the ball in the air, Bryce Butler fights his way through, just makes the catch anyways.
Bryce Butler is extra motivated tonight. Talked to him after the game last week, and he was already looking forward to playing Oakland because, of course, he was a fifth-round draft pick of the Raiders once upon a time. Alfred Morris into the secondary for the 30-yard line.
And that's what you want to see from your third string, second string running back saying, hey, we have depth in the running back position. You can see how well everything was executed and get big yards.
And a real nice job by James Hanna because he's coming down. He's got the kick-out block on the end of line. End of line gets too far upfield. He just rolls back up. You get the extra blocker down the field in the secondary.
17 yards for Alfred Morris. Morris again, nice to hurdle a man. I'm going to ask you, Darryl, about James Hanna and what he brings as the second tight end. There's been a lot of talk this preseason about Rico Gathers, who's out for the second straight game in concussion protocol, but he showed what he can do receiving the football. But how important is that second tight end from a blocking and from a run game perspective?
I think if you go back and look at the second half of the season last year with James Hanna and Jeff Swaim out of the lineup, it was a different running attack. They couldn't do some of the things that they had done earlier in the season. Jeff Swaim against the Packers during the regular season last year was unbelievable. I mean, they were creating huge running lanes. So to have both of those guys healthy is going to be great.
And the ball gets away and running the other way, the Oakland Raiders. 65 yards into the end zone.
A little bit of late recognition by Alfred Morris, and protection allows the hit on the quarterback.
And that is LaTroy Lewis, the rookie out of Tennessee.
So you're gonna get that recognition just a little bit late to cross formation, and that's enough to knock that ball loose.
And you know, Darryl, as a running back, you always have to be scanning, trying to figure out where the missing holes are, what back is coming, what rusher is coming, so you can pick them up.
Antonio Hamilton hits rush, an athletic play made by LaTroy Lewis, taking it the other way. Undrafted free agent out of Tennessee. And Tavecchio, who missed a point after earlier, is true this time. And the Raiders extend their lead with just under 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. 20-10, Oakland leads Dallas. Welcome back to AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys partnered with Baylor Scott and White Health to host the Parents Clinic at the stadium last Saturday to learn about concussion awareness, equipment fitting, heat and hydration, and heads-up tackling techniques. It was a great event attended by many football fans. Rocket Ismail, former Cowboy, on hand for that.
And a father.
And I know, Darryl Johnston, you know how important it is instructing on the football safety, right?
The best thing for the game moving forward is to have good coaches at the youth level, smart coaches.
Against Lenore on the return, out near the 15-yard line.
I tell moms and dads all the time, the game's never been safer. It's much safer than it was when I played. There was no baseline testing. There was no return to play. The equipment's a lot better. Yeah, we had coaches that ran some of those strange drills, the bull in the ring and Oklahoma drills. So we're so much smarter with the coaching, so much smarter with teaching the right technique and the safety aspect. The rule changes everything. So I know the game has been under fire by people from the outside, but it couldn't be safer for your kids to be playing football right now.
And it's still a gladiator sport, no matter what.
Cooper Rush from the 15-yard line. Officially, that was a fumble return, not an interception return by LaTroy Lewis. And breaking into the secondary goes Alfred Morris. And a late flag.
You can see how patient Alfred Morris waited for that to develop. The gap opened up, and I'm talking about when you lash through the gap and go through there and just penetrate and get as many yards as you can. That's what you want out of a running back.
And I like the response too. He knows that was his mistake that caused the fumble return for the touchdown.
Number 28, defense, hitting the player in the head on the ground. 15-yard penalty, first down.
I'm an Alfred Morris fan. I was there the day he signed his contract out at Valley Ranch, and have always been a fan. We did games in Washington, and I've always liked his style. But I can tell you right now that is a different Alfred Morris than at any point in his career. I have not seen him with that burst. He was more of a physical, straight zone scheme runner. He's got some good feet now.
I mean, when I played against him, he was a bigger running back. But now he said he's going to tread a little weight and be a little agile.
Number 46, back shoulder, Bryce Butler.
Yeah,
and there's a flag. I was watching Michael Irvin for a moment there.
No, now Michael never extended.
That's right.
That's the whole thing. Michael had the ability to do it with the elbow, and never really get that hand out. So Bryce has got to learn that.
Offense, 10-yard penalty.
I would never say that on Thursday when Michael is in the booth with us. He's doing the game against the Texans. Now, if he gets word that I said that, I'm going to hear it on
watch
Thursday.
at the end. Watch the extension right there. See, they have the extension. So Michael, he would lean on you with the shoulder and the elbow. And I mean, I remember cornerbacks talking to the referees going, you have to see the push. And he's like, I can't. I don't know how he's doing this. I know he's pushing, but I can't see it.
He perfected it.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
First and 20. They give to Morris. You know, Morris showed that extra juice in the Hall of Fame game in Canton, and I thought at the time, remember that one run, he got in the secondary, made a spin move. I said, this guy is running for his NFL life.
Yeah.
And I thought at the time, because it could be a salary cap thing as far as the Cowboys are concerned, they could save money if they cut him. But obviously they're not going to cut him now with what's going on with Zeke and the way he's performed. He's going to be a valuable member of this stable of running backs, especially early in the season. 6 for 46. Short gain to James Hanna.
And for him moving forward to really help out that 6 weeks, if that's what it is, without Ezekiel Elliott, he needs to get better on the pass protection. The mistake that he had there, you need to be able to be a 3-down back, and it's one of the areas that he has actually admitted, I've got to get a little bit better. If you can keep a defense guessing as to what you're going to run, you don't want Alfred Morris in the lineup and know that these types of plays are coming. Darren McFadden in the lineup, these types of plays coming.
And he just wasn't used that way in Washington. He was their main back, although he was a 6th-round draft pick. And that ball is dropped. It was intended for Butler as McDonald again comes over, and he can't come up with the pick.
That was almost an interception. Butler actually snatched that ball
foul. Roughing the passer, number 95, defense. Forcible contact to the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jihad Ward.
They're really big on the player safety right now. On, roughing the passer, hitting players if they're, sliding, quarterback sliding. And a lot of players have to think about that.
Let's take a look here.
It doesn't take much anymore. And
like your opinion,
yeah, I mean, everything is on the defensive player. It's all in your responsibility where your targeting comes into play.
Any blow to the head against the quarterback, you're going to get a flag. Yep, Swaim, man in motion. 2 tight end set. And there goes Morris, trying left end. Gets a couple.
Couldn't get off that double team on the end of the line to crawl up to get the support coming from the inside. So see Jeff Swaim as he comes over. Now watch the play come out. You've got 2-on-1. Nobody can really kind of release up. And there's the unblocked defender to make the tackle.
So 2nd and 8. Jason Garrett said before the game, expect Cooper Rush to play on into the 4th quarter. Take a good look at him here. Empty backfield now as Ronnie Hillman is in the slot to the left side. Has time. Now there's a flag. And downfield to Butler, out of bounds. But the flag in the vicinity of holding.
Illegal hands to the face, number 63, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And that one's on Emmett Cleary, the right tackle.
I mean, as an offensive lineman, you got to know once a guy in plays starts stringing out, and once a guy gives you a rip move, you have to take your hands off his face. They're going to see that every time.
Especially when the helmet comes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when the helmet comes off.
James Cowser, number 47. The 2nd time he's drawn a hands to the face foul. Lyle Collins had troubles in the 1st half. Screen to Hillman. It's back up to the original line of scrimmage. Hillman was with the Vikings and the Chargers last year. They're being let go by the Broncos.
I mean, playing against Ronnie Hillman, he was one of those guys where if you give him little like screen plays, he can end up getting 5 yards and them yards after the catch, 15, 20, because he's so fast, he's so elusive, and you got to find some way to get him the ball.
2 years ago with the Broncos, which was a pretty good year for the Broncos, he started 10 games at running back. There he is again. Makes a couple miss, gets to the 35. It's going to be 4th down from there.
Well, it looks like the Cowboys are going to go for it on 4th down.
Preseason, this is what you call 4-down territory. 35, 36-yard line.
Well, when you got Dan Bailey, you're pretty secure there. You don't have to worry about anything. You know, let's see what the range is. Let's see how he does in these types of situations. I think everybody knows how good Dan Bailey is.
As the clock winds down here in the 3rd quarter, the Cowboys will do it at the other end of the field. The Raiders lead the Cowboys 20-10 through 3 quarters. This game is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. As we start the fourth quarter here at AT&T Stadium, Raiders lead the Cowboys 20-10. Bill Jones with DeMarcus Ware and Darryl Johnston. Lindsey Draper down on the sideline. 4th and 5 for Cooper Rush, bidding to become the backup quarterback for the Cowboys. Takes the snap under pressure and over the middle, throws incomplete, and the ball goes over. And there's a flag. Ball doesn't go over. Walt Anderson, your referee.
One of the things you just don't want to see as an offense and pass protection is an unblocked man coming to your quarterback. So obviously something wrong with the assignments up front in protection.
Pass interference, number 28, defense. First down.
But you do want to see the chains moving if you mess up.
You got lucky there.
Marcus McWilson called for the penalty.
We play against Philadelphia with Jim Johnson, and it was just a question of when he had our protection broken down to the point where somebody was coming free.
Man, those Eagles teams from the early 90s were tough to deal with. Ask Troy Aikman. Alfred Morris makes a nifty move and gets 5 yards. You were just talking about that in the break. All of a sudden, Alfred Morris has 5 yards, and you wonder how he did it.
It should be -3, right? It should be 2nd and 13, 2nd and 12 in that situation. He's got you at 2nd and 5.
And that's the thing. He's been a patient runner. The guy still got penetration, but guess what? He made a miss. And when running backs can make the defender miss, that's what you want.
Second and 5 from the 25. Morris again. Gets 3. He's going to set up a 3rd and 2. In case you joined us late, the Cowboys had injury issues in the first half. Late in the first half, Anthony Hitchens went down with an apparent knee injury. Chaz Green with an ankle. 3rd and 2. Looking right side. Nicely done to the 13-yard line. That's Easy Wachuku out of Allen High School in Texas A&M.
I've been impressed with Cooper Rush in the pocket. I mean, he's for a rookie. He's very calm in the pocket. We talked about the unblocked rusher. Watch, he's got pressure in his face again here. And, boy, he delivers a nice ball. Not a whole lot of room for error on that throw.
And that's what you want, poise in the pocket. When you have rushers and blitzers coming at you, you don't want them just to, throw the ball off and have some type of short pass and throw it to anyone. You know what? Always be line on what you want to do.
And we talked to Mike Martz, one of the architects of the greatest show on turf, and he goes, it's one of the hidden things that we look for in our quarterbacks, and it's one of the skill sets that not a lot of people talk about. But if you go back to Kurt Warner, courage in the pocket. Right. We're gonna throw hot off people. You're gonna take hits. Can you stand there and make that throw, knowing that you're probably going to take a hit after you throw it? And he always raved about how good Kurt was standing in the face of a blitz or pressure and making those throws.
Dexter McDonald went off. As you look at Cooper Rush, Kellen Moore should play here later in the fourth quarter. Cooper Rush, a 4-year starter at Central Michigan. Passed for nearly 13,000 yards in his career. First down from the 14. That's Jeff Swain. Pickup of about 6 to the 8-yard line. Swain and Hannah, they rehabbed together throughout the offseason after season-ending injuries last year.
They really allow this offense to do a number of different things. And we talked about the Raiders with their 2 tight end sets to start the game. What a pressure it puts on you guys as defensive players, what's coming out in the play call. So having Hannah and Swain back along with Witten is going to be fun to watch this year.
Noah Brown in motion, sets up on the right side, looking right and swinging out to Ronnie Hillman. Has running room. First down, touchdown. DeMarcus Ware's former teammate with the Denver Broncos in the end zone.
Well, Jason Garrett, he wanted to see the progression of Cooper Rush, and I think that after that fumble for the touchdown, it's very easy for him to get frustrated, to get hard on himself, and we talked about his poise in the pocket. He just comes out, starts delivering the ball. That's a nice drive. That's a nice response after that negative play.
And then he knew the pressure was coming on him, and you can see you have to get the ball to running him. He's one of them guys that can run swing passes, screen passes, and you let him get open field tacklers, he's going to make them miss.
Sam Irwin-Hill with the point after makes it a 3-point game. Cooper Rush leads an 85-yard scoring pass, finding the veteran Ronnie Hillman. The fourth scoring drive as Cooper Rush leads the Cowboys 85 yards in 11 plays. Took up nearly half the quarter, 7 minutes and 39 seconds. A 7-yarder to Ronnie Hillman cuts this lead down to 3. Raiders lead the Cowboys 20-17 here at AT&T Stadium. Cooper Rush alongside Scott Linehan on the Cowboys bench. Sam Irwin-Hill has the football teed up, and George Atkinson III is deep for the Raiders. Atkinson, the son of a former Raider. George Atkinson had 30 picks as a defensive back in Oakland. Now let's go down to the sideline and Lindsey Draper.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, you said it yourself. The Ronnie Hillman touchdown was big, but the guy who set it up, the whole drive, that would be Alfred Morris. And he told me during training camp at Oxnard, I don't know where I'm at right now, but I really like it. He was a guy who averaged almost 1,200 yards a season at one time in Washington, guys. But now the tides have turned with the Ezekiel Elliott suspension. Alfred, the hungriest person I think I know on this team, may have a chance to make an impact. And of course, he is a Jason Garrett guy. I know all three of you up there know Alfred and know his attitude. It is one unlike any other.
That's right, Lindsey. Great team guy, great locker room guy, and he can do it on the field. In fact, he made it to 2 Pro Bowls as a member of the Redskins. New quarterback in the game for Oakland. That's Connor Cook. And pickup is up to the 30-yard line. Connor Cook, an early 4th-round draft pick last year. Of course, Dak Prescott went later in the 4th round. This is a guy who's had success right here at AT&T Stadium. Beat Baylor in the Cotton Bowl. He also did not have success when he faced Alabama in the Cotton Bowl in the
not many do.
Yeah, college football playoff. Damian Wilson in on the stop, number 57. Mark Nzacha as well.
They ran this play very well. They call it the power stunt, where number 58, the defensive end, goes underneath to create a non-cutback for the running back. Number 57 has the opportunity to make a straight D-line tackle, and that's what he did, and they make a big play.
And it sets up a 3rd down for the Raiders.
And when it's 3rd and 5, you got to pin your ears back, and you got to go and get the quarterback. This is a great opportunity for Taco Charlton.
Charlton at right defensive end, Demontre Moore left defensive end. Connor Cook fires right at the sticks at the 35-yard line. Robert Blanton defending, and it's a completion for the Raiders. Looks like it's going to be just short of a 1st down. They eyeball it. Fourth and 1. Rod Marinelli always coaching. Play clock down to nothing. Jack Del Rio questioning the spot.
With it being 4th and 1, and if the defensive guys are still out there and the offensive guys are out there, I'm thinking quarterback.
Ruling on the field.
They got the biggest
runner was
offensive
down by
line
contact
in the league.
Short of the 35-yard line. Ruling is being challenged by Oakland.
So the Raiders will challenge. Jack Del Rio not only didn't like the spot, he decides to challenge it as well. Here with 10:16 to play in the 4th quarter. If he does not win the challenge, it'll be interesting to see what decision he makes on 4th and a foot.
There was a lot going on in that play, too. I thought he was going to get a new play clock bumped up because they took so long to get the ball set. This is such a hard challenge when you challenge the spot of the ball, because you've got to, it's 2 parts. You've got to have the spot be changed, and then you've got to have the result be different.
Right.
So he's got to win on both chords here.
Just looking at that replay, I thought it was a pretty good spot.
He reaches back, like you should as a receiver, but in that situation, with him reaching back to the ball, and then the defensive players rallying up and kind of forcing him back, I don't know if it ever got past the 35-yard line.
Nice job by the cornerback for the Cowboys, and that is one of the rookies for the Cowboys at cornerback, the rookie out of Florida State, Marquez White.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's 4th down, and Oakland will be charged with their 1st timeout.
Well, now we get to see if your quarterback sneak calls coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, when it's 4th and
quick,
1
right
now, and quick count, or either try to deter you off the ball with giving some type of hard count, because you got the younger guys in there that think they're not going to listen. But a guy like Jason Garrett, he coaches the guys up for this type of situations. He's great at that.
4th down.
Interesting personnel grouping too. It's not like a jumbo short yardage goal line
Correction
personnel
on the
group.
clock. Oakland was charged a timeout, so the clock will start on the snap. Please put 10:16 on the game clock. 10:16. Thank you.
Connor Cook will be under center here. And there is, as DeMarcus Ware called it, the quarterback sneak by Cook, and it looks like he's got plenty for the 1st down, muscling his way forward. So you could be a play caller, DeMarcus.
No, I just see everything from up high.
It's a lot easier from up here. So first down for the Raiders. Connor Cook played well last week, and some in Oakland think that he pushed himself ahead of E.J. Manuel in the battle to be Derek Carr's backup. John Crockett is the setback behind Cook. He gets the handoff. He won 3 national championships at North Dakota State. David Irving in on the stop. Of course, Irving facing a 4-game suspension to start this season.
And David Irving right now getting that type of penetration like he's doing right now. That's what you want from tackles. He's being able to make the guy cut back so the guys can really corral around him and make plays.
And he can be a difference maker on that defensive line. He's shown it at the end of last year. At times he was dominant, especially the Green Bay game last year. But you got to keep him on the field. Tight coverage at the 40-yard line by Mark Nzacha.
I think everybody's comfortable with the interior of the defensive line, but what are your thoughts on the edge? You know, I know you're high on Taco Charlton, but
yeah, on the edge, those guys have to have a lot of pocket awareness, and they're doing a lot of short passes, and you have to just sometimes push the pocket and just put your hands up to block balls out. Or if you get a lot of penetration in the middle, widen out a little bit and then try to beat the guys around the corner. They're bigger tackles, and they can't kick back as fast as you're running forward. So you have the advantage.
But you feel comfortable they have the guys
here? I feel very comfortable they have the guys.
There's DeMontre Moore.
Because we had pass rush camps in the offseason with DeMontre Moore. I had Tyrone Crawford. I mean, those guys really have developed their toolbox. All of the moves that they need to be effective pass rushers, they already can stop the run. And they told me they have to really just work on their skills.
The other thing that they have to work on is a fumble recovery drill, because I don't know if I've ever seen a defense generate more fumbles but not get any.
You have to get the ball as well now. Fumble recovery.
And that was a good play by DeMontre Moore. He's got a clean hit on the quarterback, but instead of going for the sack, he's going for the turnover. You know, Connor Cook doesn't see it. He goes right to the ball.
And as a defensive end pass rusher, you always try to get the strip sack. If you can pick it up and get the touchdown, that's the bonus.
DeMontre Moore lowered his shoulder, got around the rookie converted defensive tackle Jalen Ware, draft pick of the Raiders, the right tackle. Now Lance Lenoir trying to make something happen. And Lenoir has done a much better job here the last couple of weeks fielding punts than what we saw a couple of weeks ago when he had a muff punt that led to a touchdown for the Rams. There's a late penalty flag, it looked like, that flew in there. Maybe not. Yep, there is one at the 42-yard line, late flag. And back at the 25-yard line. Lance Lenoir out of Western Illinois.
They haven't been easy punts tonight either that he's been fielding. I mean, they haven't not been, the ball hasn't turned over well.
Two fouls on the play. During the kick, personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 56 for the kicking team. That penalty is declined. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 56 for the kicking team. That penalty is accepted, 15 yards, first down.
So was that 2 penalties against the same guy?
Yep, Xavier Woodson Luster with 7:48 left. Doesn't score points with Jack Del Rio. Along with the Ring of Honor ceremony on Monday, the alumni players had the opportunity to mix and mingle with the current players at the start. Jason Garrett said he appreciated so much their time pouring into the new generation of Dallas Cowboys. Players ate with the Ring of Honor members. They stayed to watch practice as well. This is an annual tradition, and it's a great tradition as some of the greats from the past, the alumni on hand, spending a day with the Cowboys. Cooper Rush still in there at quarterback.
Randy White still looks like he can play.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah. If they get thin at the inside, they could just put the Manster back out there.
Use the Manster. That would. There's Randy White. What a career! 14 years.
That's a long year. And still that looked like he
down inside. Down inside. We're
right. And it was different back then.
It was very different back then.
Tom Landry was going to make him a linebacker, middle linebacker, to replace Leroy Jordan, but he wound up playing defensive tackle and playing at first ballot Hall of Fame level. There's Lance Lenoir. Touchdown. Cooper Rush to Lance Lenoir, 44 yards, and the Cowboys have the lead.
This is one of those play actions where you're going for a shot down the field. You're selling out everything, just a two-man route. And Lance Lenoir runs a really nice route. Cooper Rush throws a really nice ball into the middle, into the inside. So watch the hard play action. Everybody's holding on it. There's only two guys out in the route right now. Well thrown.
There was a great play action. You see how the free safety actually bit up on it?
Kept coming.
And there was a big hole. Nobody was even there.
Sam Irwin-Hill with the point after. And with 7:02 to play in this football game, Cooper Rush has led the Cowboys on 2 touchdown drives. Lance Lenoir, the former Western Illinois Leatherneck, who's the all-time leader in receptions for that school with 273, has an NFL preseason touchdown.
That's a nice job, because I really think the defensive back played it well, forced him to the outside. Lance knew he had to get back to the middle of the field, so that was really nice to get around to the outside and back to the middle of the field.
That was good route running.
Forward scoring drive, 47 yards in 2 plays. Where we talk about the depth and the wide receiving core for the Cowboys, and there's another illustration of it with Lance Lenoir. But I think all over the league, teams have great depth in the receiving core. It's something about the way they're playing college football these days.
Absolutely. I really, the fact that this season they're cutting from 90 to 53, and it's just one cut, how busy that day is going to be on the waiver wire, trying to get your roster set, trying to get your practice squad. I mean, you've got a very limited amount of time to get that all done.
You have a lot of work to do.
There's a ton of guys. There's going to be a lot of good football players that are on the market that day.
Exactly right. DeMarcus Ware had some great matchups with Peyton Manning in his career.
Who?
Yeah, and became a teammate as well. That was in 2006. DeMarcus Ware with a sack of Peyton Manning. And DeMarcus, tell us what happened there in that wild 51-48 Bronco win over the Cowboys. What did Peyton Manning do to you right there?
One thing that Peyton Manning does really well is audible plays. He knew that I was going to have the cutback, which is a running back, and only had that responsibility. He actually pulled the ball. You can see the running back look at him like, oh, you didn't give it to me. And he runs around the corner. I asked him after the game, I said, why did you pull the ball on that play? And he said, because I knew you had the cutback. I knew no one was going to have the boot. And I told him, you was running like 5 miles an hour on that play. No one was even there, you know?
But the story behind that story is that sack back in 2006, you deked Peyton Manning on that one, right?
I did.
But he got you back 7 years later.
He got me back 7 years later. As a rookie, I was doing sort of like a blitz stunt where I would go inside and I'll go out in coverage. He thought I was going to be in coverage. I don't cover. So I ended up going out and getting a sack on him, and the offensive line blocked down, and I was scot-free for a big play.
And so 7 years later, after that bootleg for a touchdown for the Broncos, what did Peyton Manning say to you?
Do you remember that play as a rookie when you got?
Did he really?
Yes.
No, we didn't.
He's one of those type guys where he remembers everything. He said, you remember the play as a rookie? when you got that sack on me, I did that because of that play.
I got you back.
I'm like, really?
That says so much about Peyton Manning, which we already knew about Peyton Manning as well. I bet you could tell a lot of Peyton Manning stories.
Have a whole bunch of stories. I got some Daryl Johnson stories too.
So did he practice the Omaha call in practice a lot?
All the time, and draws everyone off sides.
So you would be a good person to ask this then. When he was coming out of college, and it was between himself and Ryan Leaf, and it was going back and forth. It was not completely Peyton Manning the night before the draft. It was about 60-40 Peyton Manning, but there were other teams that said they would have taken Ryan Leaf, and there were some trades trying to move that Peyton told the Colts, if you take Ryan Leaf ahead of me, I will make it my mission to beat you every single time I play you.
Wow.
So that would be something that he would, like you said, he would have committed it to memory.
That's right.
Oh, he would have committed that to memory, and they probably would have lost every
single time they played him. One of the greatest guys I've ever had a chance to sit down and talk football with when we've done a Colts game. And as you said, his offensive coaches would tell us we've never met anybody that has the recall that he has. He threw an interception one time and he's walking to the sideline and we've got the photos and he says, no, I know. It's from 3 years ago when we were playing Tampa Bay down there. Same blitz. They got me again and again.
Wow.
Because
he remembered everything.
He already knew it.
He's one of those guys where he was a student of the game.
Connor Cook, the end around, and the Cowboys have it well read. There's flags all over the place.
If you're going to hold, you have to hold inside. You can't hold out in the middle of space.
66 Lewis Neal has been impressive this preseason for the Cowboys out of LSU, undrafted guy.
Actually, he read that play very well.
Holding number 81 offense. That penalty is declined. It's third down.
It's Pharaoh Brown, tight end.
You won't miss this one. Here comes 81 across the field. And there's the hold.
One thing that Marinelli teaches is pursuit to the ball. And you can see all the guys, even the interior linemen, getting to the ball and making plays.
3rd and 4. With 5 minutes left in this game. Cowboys up by 4. Connor Cook under pressure and he goes down. There's that man again. Lewis Neal, the rookie out of LSU.
Talked to Leon Lett before the game last week, and he said he's got a couple of guys inside that he really likes. Lewis Neal, one of them, Jordan Carroll, Woody Barron. I mean, they've got a lot of depth inside. So now that you say you feel good with DeMarcus Lawrence, with Taco Charlton, with the guys that are going to be coming off the Tyrone Crawford gets back, this front is going to be a lot better than people think.
This front is going to be really good, especially with them up on the Leon Lett and Marinelli, guys that can really push them to greatness. And one thing that, you know, being coached by Leon Lett, we always talk about, especially on this sack, we call it the shake and bake. You shake the guy, get him to stop his feet, and you bake him with a rip move, get underneath his pads, and go to the sack. And that's exactly what he did.
Lance Lenoir comes up limping a little bit after the punt return. Cowboys back on offense, and we come back to Arlington. College football is back, and the action is coming to AT&T Stadium with a marquee matchup between Michigan and Florida next Saturday. Tickets start at $29. Get yours now at attstadium.com. Luke Del Rio battling to become the starting quarterback for the Florida Gators. He was their starter last year to start the year, and of course Jack Del Rio's son. That'll be next Saturday night, another Del Rio here at AT&T Stadium. Kellen Moore in there at quarterback now for the Cowboys after a nice night for Cooper Rush. Pickup of about 7 yards out to the 35-yard line for Rod Smith. Cooper Rush completed his last 10 passes, and he was 12 out of 13 throwing as you look at Moore's numbers this preseason. But aside from the fumble return for the touchdown by the Raiders, Cooper Rush rebounded from that very well and led the Cowboys to 2 scoring drives that gave them the lead.
I think the big thing, just the poise in the pocket. I love the response after the turnover for the touchdown. He's really making a case.
So now Kellen Moore here in the final 4 minutes of this game. Flag down. So you got a second-year quarterback in Dak Prescott starting as Walt Anderson will make the call.
Illegal shift. Numbers 14 and 16 were both moving, did not get set prior to the snap on the offense. That penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
So how rare would it be to go with a rookie as the backup quarterback?
Well, I think that that's the reason that this discussion is going on. Scott Linehan does feel comfortable with Kellen Moore and his knowledge of the offense, but Cooper Rush has played so well through the course of the preseason that I think you have to
consider.
I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's proven that he deserves the number 2 spot this evening.
3rd down, Moore to the outside. And that's a 1st down out to the 45-yard line.
We have Arizona-Detroit the first week of the regular season, and the Cardinals are going through the same thing. They've got Carson Palmer, who's 37. They've got Drew Stanton, who's been with Bruce Arians for the last 6 years, from Indianapolis to Arizona. They brought in Blaine Gabbert this year, and Blaine Gabbert has played really, really well, and he's created a controversy in Arizona, and it sounds like they're going to go the other direction. I think Bruce Arians has decided that Drew Stanton is his guy because of the familiarity, because he knows the system and he knows him. So Scott Linehan he's going to have a tough decision to make, but I think Cooper Rush has made it a little bit easier for him.
The obvious difference there is that you're dealing with a lot of veteran quarterbacks. And in this situation, you would have a second-year guy backed up by a rookie. But you know, when you look across the league last year, there weren't that many injuries to starting quarterbacks. The league is protecting quarterbacks so well. I don't know how big of a risk it is anymore with as far as that goes.
You got to think about performance, though. I mean, this league is about performance, and you can see how well he's been performing. And you can go with the veteran guy with longevity because he's played and he knows the system, or you can go with a younger guy that's learning the system, but he's performing very well.
Yeah.
They can get in there and get it. And, you know, you got Dak. Like you said, there's not a lot of injuries, but, you know, he's a good guy.
But I think the big thing this week is how vocal Dak Prescott was about his preparation. You know, sitting there always asking questions in the meetings, you know, taking the mental reps, you know, on the sideline when he wasn't getting a lot of opportunity to play. So when Dak Prescott steps out and gives you the vote of confidence, that also becomes another chip that goes into the Cooper Rush pile as this debate moves forward.
But having said all of that about the young quarterbacks, when you've got a team that you think can make it all the way to the Super Bowl, you need to have an experienced hand like the Cowboys did back in the 90s when you had a Rodney Peete as a backup quarterback, Steve Berline, and those type guys on down the road. Pass goes incomplete.
Well, I think the other part right now, and both of these guys fit this, is four-year starters, smaller schools, second-tier schools in Division I football, more pro-style oriented. So I expect to see a little bit of a shift moving forward, if not for that go-to guy like you're trying to find your franchise quarterback. But I think you're going to see more teams in the NFL that are looking for the Carson Wentz, looking for the Cooper Rush. You know, looking for that second-tier guy that's got 4 years under his belt and a more pro-style offense.
Tony Romo.
Tony, yeah, a smaller learning curve coming to the NFL. Absolutely, Tony's one of the guys that cut the path for the opportunity of these guys to have a shot at the NFL.
I think the big question is, how many quarterbacks do the Cowboys plan to have on their roster?
That's going to be the hardest part. They've got a lot of positions, and if you're doing 3 there, you're 1 short somewhere else. Where's that 1 short going to be?
But they went with the 3 last year throughout the season, and they may just plan on, okay, we've got our starter, we've got a veteran, and we've got a developmental guy. And
I think you got to have 3 quarterbacks.
Kellen Moore going deep downfield, incomplete.
Well, I will tell you this: if you don't have Cooper Rush and you try to get him through waivers, he's not coming back to you.
Right. He's
going
to get. It's going to be Matt Moore all over him. 1:58 to play. Cowboys lead the Raiders 24-20 thanks to Cooper Rush. If you watched the solar eclipse this week, and who didn't, you weren't alone. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys were doing the same. The team handed out safe glasses, of course, and the entire team and some employees gathered outside the Star to take a look at the eclipse. Nice little fun mixed in with the training camp routine. Actually, I did not look at the eclipse.
You didn't see it?
I didn't have the safe glasses, and so I couldn't look at the eclipse. But I thought it was going to get darker around here than it did. Punt downfield with 1:48 and counting.
The coolest part of the eclipse was the crescent shape through the trees.
Yeah,
on the
I did take a picture of that in my backyard.
Where were you watching the eclipse?
My daughter's school. They had telescopes out and everything.
All right. What do you know? Another flag.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, number 40 of the kicking team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
So the Raiders will be backed up. And tonight's Essilor's play of the game. How about this one? Cooper Rush to Lance Lenoir. 44 yards, Essilor, makers of Transitions, Crizal, and Verilux lenses. Better sight, better life.
Number 44.
That was really well done by both Cooper Rush and Lance Lenoir on that play of the game. You know, we talked about that route. The Corner played it well, forced him to the outside, but that was
But the play action got the free safety to come up, bite up, he ran a great route right there to the open pocket. Right to the open pocket.
And it's not as easy as people think when you have a wide receiver over the top, running free, and Cooper Rush hit him in stride.
But usually there's always somebody there. There's a free safety there. That's their safety net. But if you can get a great play action pass where you can fake the ball, push a little bit, the free safety a little bit forward, then it creates a little lane.
There was no return
but
of
the
the
wide
kick.
receiver has to see it also.
From the end of the kick, 32-yard line, 10 yards.
So the Raiders will have better field position than we thought. All right, Cowboys open the season 2 weeks from tomorrow against the New York Giants, and then they go to Denver. I think there's someone here in the broadcast booth who might be able to give us a scouting report on the Broncos and how difficult, if that guy Zeke Elliott is not on this team, the second game of the season, will it be going up against that Broncos defense?
You know, they have a really good defense, and one thing that they do very well is get pressure on the quarterback. A good situation right now, which is Jack Del Rio's offense. They run a lot of this offense. It looks like a 4-3, but it's still a 3-4 offense because Sam Backer comes up to rush, and there will be like a Vaughn position. So they're getting good play right now for what they will be seeing in the second game of the season against the Denver Broncos.
You got a chance to see both of them play. Khalil Mack and Von Miller, similar as Vaughn. Same time. Vaughn
is a more quick, agile dude that's going to, beat guys around the corner. Khalil Mack, he wants to use his strength. Long arm moves, a lot of power moves. He's not going to get off the ball as fast as Vaughn, but he's going to use more power.
38-yard line. Connor Cook tries to lead a 2-minute offense. Downfield off the hands of Jamil Showers, who a year ago at this time was playing quarterback for the Cowboys.
You got to love a guy like that. Wherever I can help out, wherever I can play. I'm cheering for him. That's a big transition.
That's what you want for the team.
Yeah.
He's played quarterback all his life. He was out of Killeen and Texas A&M, then UTEP, then here with the Cowboys. Here you see the schedule for the Cowboys early in the season. The Giants at Denver, at Arizona, and then the Rams. And you got the Packers after that. Kayvon Frazier with the tackle.
This right here is great play for the Cowboys because you got the Denver Broncos that ran Wade's defense. It's almost the same as Wade's defense. You got Del Rio's defense, still almost like a 3-4. And then you got the Rams. So why not have this great film footage for all three of those teams?
That's a first down past midfield. It's going to be very interesting in the NFC East this year, too. It's a very competitive division. Cook downfield throws incomplete.
I think all four of them will be better this year than they were last year.
Yes.
Dallas is at 13-3. Maybe from a record standpoint, doesn't get back to that total. But I really think that when you look at the NFC East, top to bottom, every single one of those teams got better. Week one, the Giants committed to the offensive side of the ball. Last year it was the defense. This year it's the offense. Big shakeups in Washington on the defensive side of the ball. They've always struggled there. And the Eagles, they added weapons around Carson Wentz. So that's why it was so important for Dallas' secondary to get those reps this training camp. And that will be the big concern because the people in the NFC East, the offenses in the NFC East are throwing the ball. All three of them. All three of their opponents are very good at throwing the ball.
That's all the teams are doing now. They're beefing up in their wide receiver core because it's more of a passing
timeout,
league
Oakland.
now. They're not the big bruisers like when you played, the way you get teams that are going to just run it down your throat all the time. They're going to trick you here and there. They're going to throw the ball.
Mais disons que Davis, peut-être qu'il a fait son adversaire à la légère un peu. Il vient du Costa Rica, il n'a pas trop d'adversaires connus, tout ça. Et peut-être que c'est ça qui fait qu'il n'a pas pu faire le poids. C'est pour ça que là, il monte sur le ring avec peut-être 5-6 kilos de plus que d'habitude. Alors, je pense pas que c'est ça qui va faire changer la physionomie du match ou le résultat. Mais ça peut aussi le mettre dans de mauvaises conditions. Voilà. Il pense que c'est trop facile.